Ooh. Good morning, everybody. Hold up. Sorry, I heard myself somewhere else. Shout out to everybody. Can everybody hear me? Let me know. Give me one sec. Trying to order my coffee. You guys, I haven't even had coffee yet. I just got up. It was like, let me go live because we definitely have some updates. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. Everybody, come on in and hit that like button. I hope everybody had a restful evening, morning. Thank you so much. It talks, baby girl. Shout out to all the beautiful mods out there and all the wonderful members that I see in the house. Queen Bella, Daddy's baby girl, Satan's chicken rooster, Jesus soup, Jennifer, Clarice, Bobby, Amy, Teresa. I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can. More than English. Welcome, welcome, love. Chaos, SW, Peekaboo, Thorn, Rose with thorns. Like red half of your name. Bunny, Jen, thank you, everybody. Come on in. Chico's in the house. Wim, how are you? Everybody, come on in, come on in. JJ, welcome. Trained Monkey, welcome. Jennifer White, Tammy, welcome. Amy Nebulous is in the house. Welcome, Zoya. Excuse me, all my regulars. Oki, welcome. How are you doing, Oki? Oh my gosh, everybody, come on in. Liz, welcome. Bobby, I said hello. Pay girl, welcome. Thank you. Army, welcome. Lori, welcome, love. Yes, everybody come through, come through, come through. Rose, welcome. I said your name already. But wife, how are you doing? Brandy, how are you? Yeah, everybody was hitting me up about this interview. Remy, welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Vicky, how are you doing, love? I'm a mind reader sometimes. Sometimes. If we see each other, then we read each other's mind. The wonderful Ikamel's in the house. You guys go drop the big purple hearts in the chat for Ikamel. Shout out to everybody. And then I got Miss Diggs over here too. Yes. Jess 360, how you doing, love? Lily, how you doing? Jennifer, how you doing? I think I've said hello to everybody. At least everybody that's supposed to be here. All my beautiful members. Karma, how are you? Yes, look at all these beautiful hearts. Shout out to Mel. Peace, how are you doing? Look at that. Oh my gosh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Look at everybody dropping hearts. Welcome, welcome. Life, happy life. How you doing, love? Rocking with the truth rolls with TY. Oh, okay. Layla, welcome. Bama Beauty, welcome. Laverne, welcome. Everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Flor, how you doing, love? Oh my gosh. All right. All right, let's get it together. So, hey, Christina, how you doing? So I guess there was an interview. It was an exclusive interview that dropped literally like maybe about an hour and a half ago, depending on what time zone you're at. Okay, where you have Carlee's parents that are speaking out about what has happened. Um, Clearly, they've had communication with their daughter. So I'm kind of sitting here. And just pondering about what was said and where to go next from here. Okay, let me hit play. If you have not watched it, well, you're watching it with me, and we're just going to react to it. And let me know your thoughts in the comments.
When you all first laid eyes on her again, what was it like?
To me, I mean, just so much joy.
This morning, in an exclusive sit down with NBC News, the parents of 25-year-old Carlee Russell are speaking out, describing the moment their daughter appeared on their doorstep after being missing for more than 48 hours.
What did you do when you saw her?
We tried to hug her as best we could, but I had to stand back because she was not in a good state. So we had to stand back and let medical professionals work with her. But it's okay.
This mama, I'm sorry, you guys, but she's very distraught about what has happened. Yeah, there's been different rumors out there. Wife, I'm not believing anything. At this point, I've said what I've said. Like, I feel like as soon as law enforcement concludes their investigation, then we can go from there. Fairy, thank you for becoming a member. And we can go from there. I am still of the belief that, well, the investigation is not done, right? Everybody can say different things and whatnot. And I mean, I know I've speculated different things, but I very much like I'm looking at this family and they're very distraught with the situation. They're very happy to have their daughter back. And I think that's what really matters at the end of the day, right? Um, you know,
Last Thursday, police say Carlee called 911 to report a toddler walking alone on the interstate. She pulled over while on the phone with a family member who described hearing Carlee scream.
Her vehicle's unlocked, running, all her personal belongings except for her phone.
On the scene, police found no sign of Carlee or a child, and they say no children were reported as missing during that time period. The Russells waited in agony until Saturday night.
There were actually just so many calls and texts from people who maliciously lied to us. I just didn't know people could be so evil.
Authorities have not indicated where Carlee was during the 48 hours she was missing or what happened. Her parents declined to share what their daughter told them, citing the ongoing investigation.
And can you tell me what happened Saturday night? Did you just get a knock at the door?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
But they say speculation about the circumstances surrounding Carlee's disappearance are only making things worse.
She's having to deal with the trauma of people just making completely false allegations about her.
what do you guys think so far? Celie, thank you for becoming a member. And again, this is we had a parent statement and now we have a parent exclusive interview from today. I'm just sitting here and wondering kind of what do we make? Where do we go from here? What do we do? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do you guys think? Someone's like, shake my head. Well, tell me, what are your thoughts? Because the parents are still, and by the way, law enforcement hasn't said anything yet, so we can't really deduce that law enforcement thinks that she's lying. We're just going by what law enforcement has provided. There's a lot of confusion even in what law enforcement has said. I'm confused as ever. I am, and I really hope that that there's some service and treatment to this situation, right? I think there's a lot of desensitized people, says Business. Welcome to Business. That's the hoax BS is trad pimping and it pisses me off. I've got words. Shout out to I've got words. Chaos. Then why do interviews if they're still investigating? Says Chaos. Ooh. Maybe they just want to ease the public. I'm just saying. Phoenix, welcome to the membership. Amy says, I'm trying to figure out how to speculate when speculating isn't helping. I know. And I think that we just have a lot of questions, right? I'm not buying the 17-year-old boyfriend story. There's another story out there about somebody eating cheese nits, whatever, Cheez-Its or whatever the hell they're called. And some other story. I'm like, first of all, I can't keep track. I can't keep track. So I'm just not, I'm not. You think we will never know? I think that law enforcement needs to, I thought they would have provided a statement as of yesterday, but maybe they're still investigating, Why do an interview national show if they can't speak? Maybe that's their way of trying to, ease the tension with everybody. Fairy Dust, thank you for being a member for 2 months. I see you in the chat, love. I don't believe any of it. Look at Mel says, not Ickamel, but Mel. Mel says, I don't believe any of it. And I feel bad for her parents because they want to believe their child, of course. Gotcha. You think the parents absolutely believe her. Hey, you. Parents are supposed to believe her. We can consider their testimony and accounts as biased. They have a lawyer for sure on privacy. I thought they had lawyered up. That's the rumor that I heard. So we don't know. Sunflower says, we don't know all the details. We all have questions, but what exactly happened if there's some potential kidnapper or killer out there? Yeah, see, and that's what I was thinking too. Clearly, we're not done. We're not done reviewing this. Let me hit play.
Family now urging the public to let the investigation play out, but mentioning an abductor. Her mother asking to read a brief message to the public.
Carlee has given detectives her statement so that they can continue to pursue her abductor.
Do you believe that there's an abductor still out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
NBC News has reached out to the Hoover Police Department to ask whether they're looking for an individual involved. Police have just said they're following up on all information provided by Carlee.
And when I talked to you all on Saturday, you also said your daughter is a fighter.
Let me tell you something. I already see it. People are already evaluating the parents' body language. Stop. I don't know, Phyllis. I don't know, but everybody, listen, just the same people that were evaluating that image with their carrot eyes, they could see so many things. They could see a child, they could see this. And I'm sitting there like, I ain't seen nothing yet. What are you guys seeing that I don't see? And so then I had to go a little bit closer and I was like, oh, I guess I could see an image of a person. I guess. But people are already examining the body language of these parents versus just maybe consuming the interview. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see what everybody's got to say. Maybe they're trying to help their daughter and tried not to blow up all the rumors. Can tell they are devastated with all the public's opinion and accusation. Right, Jennifer. I mean, I could see that. You said, I just see her. See, you guys see something that I don't see. I'm just saying. I don't know. Said, y'all were mad that they didn't talk, and now y'all are mad that they're talking. That's what I'm saying. Is you really can't win. And you know, people are going to be pulling the story apart. The glare's in the chat. Shout out to the glare. Something happened with Idaho. Police didn't say anything about the suspect, and parents spoke out. This is a confusing one. Because not every situation is cookie cutter. You know, keep that. I think that's a good point to make. I don't know. It is crazy. I hear you. It's crazy. But I think what happened to innocent until proven otherwise, right? Because the rumors are the ones that sell, you know? Sinaloa tacos, because they're talking in circles and lies. Oh my God, stop. Give them jail time and major fines. For what? You guys are already incarcerating people and we don't even know why they were incarcerated. Oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all are a tough crowd. Did you guys have coffee? Because I haven't.
And she would find a way back to you.
I felt that in my heart.
Is that what happened?
She did. She found her way back to us. However, we can't discuss the details of that.
But they say one thing is clear.
Do you believe she was fighting for her life?
Oh, she definitely fought for her life. There were moments when she physically had to fight for her life, and there were moments when she had to mentally fight for her life.
But she made it back to you.
She made it back.
Yeah, she did make it back. All right, Priscilla, so investigators are obviously busy on this case.
Wow.
What are they looking into going forward?
Yeah, Hoda, right now they're analyzing that initial 911 call and also that traffic cam video.
Which, by the way, we don't have the initial 911 call. You know, we just don't. They're damn if they're due and damn if they don't when it comes to giving interviews. That's very true. You guys have to understand, like, even I think police is very careful about the things that they say and they don't say because they know somebody's going to pull them apart. That statement has been pulled apart. That dissertation, it was like 5 or 6 paragraphs. You know, a lot of us are wanting to hear I want to hear what police have to say. You know, what percentage of people that get kidnapped come back? It's a good question. That's a good question. We just have a lot of questions. That's all. But I do feel like we need to kind of be careful. I'm just waiting for the results of the investigation, regardless of what happened. The parents will want to support their daughter. Absolutely, Rebecca. And that's what they're doing here. I don't fault them for that. I don't either, you know? Ashley, thank you for being here. And Lily, I see everybody coming in. You're waiting for the investigation to finish. I think that's the best way to conclude. You know what? We're all waiting for law enforcement. We don't know what the statement is. We don't know what that's going to look like. The parents are, you know, they've said what they said. She fought. So that's the second time I've heard families say she fought for her life. The boyfriend says she fought for her life for the 48 hours. Now parents are saying the same thing. So clearly, I mean, they're talking to Carlee, and Carlee has expressed basically in verbatim the same thing.
showing that car driving on the interstate very slowly with its flashers on, believed to be Carlee's car. And of course, they're looking at the evidence from the crime scene, including the car and her cell phone, which was found on the roadway nearby. Police say that they have been able to account for all of her steps leading up to her disappearance, but those 48 hours when she was gone still remain a mystery. Hoda?
Yeah, leaving behind her phone, her pocketbook, and all those things, a lot of things that investigators are looking into. Priscilla, thank you.
I don't think she had a pocketbook. I'm pretty sure she didn't have a pocketbook. She had an Apple Watch. Mario says, in Mexico, the kidnappers cut your ears off and mail it to the family so they know you mean business. Yeah, Mexico's a whole different animal when it comes to abductions. Surveillance video doesn't hold up. Surveillance video doesn't show anything. It's all sketch to me. Well, according to some people, they could see through the surveillance footage. Amethyst says, I escaped my abductor and I wanted to be in a safe place. I did not think of calling 911. I did not think of getting help from strangers. I wanted my mom, and that is who I reached out to. Let PD do their job. I agree. I guess we will see from there, you know? The baby requests peace and quiet at this time. The baby. I think at this point, the parents aren't mentioning a baby in this interview. Law enforcement hasn't repeated that there's a baby out there. There hasn't been an arrest. There might be, I mean, this might blow everybody up. I mean, there could be an arrest. What if there is an arrest on somebody? What if the abductors or abductor is arrested? And then what is everybody going to say now? Are y'all still going to say it was a setup? I mean, we don't know, right? Exactly. It could have been anyone, though, a hitchhiker, a rapist, a stalker, anyone. She could have been held in someone's home. Y'all, we don't know. You're absolutely right. We don't. I don't know. But is it anybody concerned that, like the parents said, there is still somebody hasn't been caught? If this happened, right, somebody has not been caught. He's still out there. Is anybody concerned for that? Anybody?
That moment you all first laid eyes on her again, what was it like?
To me, I mean, just so much joy.
This morning, and
why is the missing food an issue for you? Let me know, for Anne Marie. Because the food isn't mentioned anymore, right? That's interesting. Maybe somebody was in her back seat. You know what? We didn't even think of that one. What if it's more speculation? Maybe somebody from, she went to go pick up the food from the restaurant. Let's just say that. And somebody snuck on her back seat and told her to call 911 and tell them that they had a baby. And then it could have also been, there's a baby, and that's why people heard noise in the background. It's a lot of speculation. Because I think, Sonia, it gives us like a little bit of a timeline of like when she went to go pick up the food. People, when the items that were found, the food wasn't mentioned. That's what I was asking yesterday. I said, did she eat before? Was it after? This is why I said, I know some people think this is not significant, but it might be. Notice how in the, what is it? The freaking, the press release from the website, it doesn't mention the food. It mentions that she went to the restaurant. It didn't say that she took food with her. It didn't say that she sat down and ate at the restaurant beforehand. So I guess to a certain degree, yeah, it would make sense to kind of question a little bit of the food. I don't know. The Glare says, no, where'd you go, the Glare? Why leave the car if the abductor was in the back seat? I'm shutting that theory down right now. The Glare. I'm just saying, anything is possible. I don't know. At first, when I saw the video, I didn't even think she was driving the car. I said, why are they showing us that? Why are they showing us that? Because I didn't think it was I just didn't think. I don't think it was the car. I don't know. Look at you guys. In the timeline police release, they said she was at the restaurant an hour before she went missing. So she probably ate in the car or at the parking lot. Well, what if she ate in the restaurant? Just curious. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to drop the link. Well, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to put the link in Discord for our members. For those that want to come up and give some commentary. If you're a moderator in the channel, you can definitely do that. I'm going to put the link for those that are in the Discord on the Down the Rabbit Hole News video link, or excuse me, the sharing link when we go live. It's there. If you want to click it, let me know. The link is for the members. I see I see folks in the chat. I mean, let me know. What do you guys think? I'm also going to drop it. Let's see. Ikamel, I see you in the chat. I'm going to drop it for you there if you want to come up. And I'm going to drop it for the glare. If he has anything to say or to add. I mean, I haven't really seen the glare talk about this situation, but I'm kind of curious to know. Yesterday we had SF Investigates come up and gave his perspective, and I thought it was a very plausible perspective too. I don't know. I mean, now let me stop. I'm starting to sound like Zav Girl again, and I told you guys to call me out. If you start hearing me say, "I don't know, guys," you need to call me out on that because we don't do that over here. We don't do that over here. Okay, let me see. Everybody in the chat. Yes, please hit that like button. Homeless troll jumped in and she got out, ate her food and caught him, chased him down. Oh, Lord, stop it, Jennifer. Stop it, Jennifer. She told her mom they forgot her order something that was prepared for fake abduction. How do you know that? I don't know about that. I'm trying, Diggs. I'm like, let me not say I don't know about that, guys. If she fought for her life, why was she not in the hospital that long? I don't know. I don't know what fighting for her fighting for her life could mean. All kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? Like it could mean that she tried to, I don't know, do different things. Hey, Claire.
What's up?
Have you been following?
I've been following. I haven't covered it yet. There's enough of a headache that I got on my plate right now as far as stuff that I've been talking about. And this is one of those cases that is just really confusing, and you got to really touch it with kid gloves. And
yes,
it's a lot.
Isn't it kind of like we were It's weird how all of this kind of hit, because then we had Rudy Farias,
Right.
and then the whole Zav Girl thing, but then this too. So it's like, whoa, what do we do here? But what are your thoughts so far?
Well, Rudy Farias, I think, is lying.
Oh.
It's just straight up. I don't care what anybody thinks about that. But this is one of those situations where it's different because so many of us advocate for victims.
Mm-hmm.
Question is whether or not she's a victim.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I've been watching you covering this. I've been watching Mel. I've been texting with other people about it. It's weird because it's one of those things. It's like, she could be a victim, but then again, could somebody be wrongly accused of something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are they a victim?
Oh, Lord.
You know what I mean? I mean, we haven't gotten there yet, but I'm saying that's why this is so touchy, because you just don't know anything, and the way that everything looks, it looks suspicious, but it doesn't look suspicious in the way that somebody committed a crime here. But I'm not feeling like there's a hoax. The only thing that would make me think that maybe is because of the reward fund, but I'm not seeing any indication that this was some big scam for the reward fund either. And
yeah,
you have to
the
forgive me
reward wouldn't even go to them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, no, and that's, somebody brought that up. So the reward would be for the Crime Stopper, I guess, anything that would have led to her, finding her, but she came up by her own. And then it becomes, when I was talking to SF, we were talking about how, if it's possible that she might have had a mental health breakdown or something to that effect. But the family is not necessarily acknowledging that, neither is law enforcement. So it becomes this little issue of like, well, then what was it? Who kept her for those 72 hours that she was gone? And
Oh
what
shit.
happened after that? Look at who's in the house.
Hey.
Yo, what's up,
up?
dude?
How you doing, man? Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Just seeing all the craziness kind of unfold this
Oh my
morning.
God.
First thing I woke up, I see this with the parents.
Oh my God. What do you think so far about the parents?
So I don't like kind of like Blair was saying, it's like almost a thing where you gotta like touch it with kid gloves somewhat.
Mhm.
That I've been getting a little more comfortable sharing my opinion. I don't think like these people are like involved or anything like that, like how some people maybe have insinuated, like they knowingly, know or knew. I think like with these parents speaking out right now, I just think it's parents believing their kid. Like I just whatever she's telling them or whatever, I think they believe her.
That's my
Maybe
impression as well.
yeah, maybe they know more, obviously, I don't know. But like I think the whole thing is it's very sus. The whole story, it's very kind of weird and suspicious. And I think for a majority of my thoughts have been like a mental health type of thing. Like maybe, maybe some sort of mental health. I don't know. I see a lot of different rumors online. I saw some people in the community that are really upset and pissed off because some people are like, hey, we did the right thing. It's whatever. Some people are like, I put in my time. I was actually concerned. I worried for my safety. And so the message that police have put out in that statement, to me, it's kind of like there really is no public danger as far as this person kidnapping her. But then now, the parents are kind of saying that like there is an abductor out there and she fought for her life, or there was like a mental, there was a struggle physically and mentally, I think, something like that. So that kind of puts it back out there. Like there's somebody out there on the loose, that took her.
Yes.
Right.
So.
The thing is with this community too, man, like the true crime community is it's frustrating in the sense that I think of the true crime community like those, you remember those pictures you looked at, those 3D pictures that you had to stare at, and then you just have to stare at it, and eventually you'll see the 3D picture. It's a boat or something stupid like that.
After you your eyesight is messed up for like a good 25 minutes. Yeah. And then eventually you see like a boat or something.
And I think all of the rumors and all of the people in the community giving their speculations and everything is like all of that stuff in that picture meant to distract you from keeping you from actually seeing the actual picture. So you got to like really try to focus and look past that stuff, which is a very difficult thing to do. But the best thing you can do with such little information is just use your common sense. And I don't think it's wrong to be, in this case, to be, I don't want to say suspicious, but to be, just, I'm having trouble finding the right word to use here. Because suspicious isn't right, because like I said, she could be a victim. It just doesn't, right. None of the stuff adds up. Like there's no description of this kid that supposedly took place. There's not even an age. That age 4 thing that that the kid is 4 years old, that was thrown out there by the internet. Nobody confirmed that. So there's just all this, I mean, yeah, skeptical. Thank you. That word was escaping me for some reason in this community. Amazing. But yeah, it's frustrating because you want to be empathetic as much as you can to this person, but people are also saying, oh well, it's not like she could have gone out on a drug binge. She's a nursing student. And I'm like, well, I'm not saying that she did drugs, but to say that she couldn't have done that is ridiculous. It's a big problem in the nursing field, is people experimenting or engaging in abusive drug
right.
use.
There is and I think it's interesting because it's like part of me says, well, wait a minute, she's 25 years old, she's young, nursing student, like something to fake or to hoax something like this would definitely be a career killer. That's why part of me is like, I don't think she would have intentionally done any of this, but then again, I don't know. Brianna says, I asked on Sunday if the red roof report may have been real and if she could have walked home in 2.5 hours. Gray measured it at about 8 miles on foot, so yes, she could have. I think it was real from the red roof. I don't know if you're familiar, Glare, with the red roof situation.
No, I haven't heard that one yet.
Mel, do you want to break it down for us on the red roof? Because that is confusing too.
So I mean, the red roof thing, basically a couple hours before she was found, SF Investigates put out this tweet talking about that. I think it was Carlee's family got a call or something that she was at this hotel, the Red Roof Inn, and the hotel ends up, I believe, calling 911 because there was like 6 cars loaded with people that show up to this hotel. I guess people thought Carlee was there. And so he posted that. And so I was like, well, let me try to call him to confirm it because we're thinking Carlee's found. And I didn't have his number saved, so I had to like scroll up in my DMs and stuff. I called him and he's like, yeah, this is what I heard. So I'm like, oh shit. So I kind of rolled the dice a little bit, but I was like, I really didn't feel like he would make this up. So I went live about it. And then we found the archives for the Broadcastify. They literally said that. And so they literally say her name in the dispatch audio. And so to this day, we're kind of unsure because hours later, then she's found or she shows up at her parents' house. And so there's been this whole thing and a lot of rumors online talking about whether she was there first and then went home or whatever. Was there really a sighting? Was this a fake troll call? And so that's kind of where that somewhat started. And then now there's also some sort of like lawsuit. It's been for a while now, some sort of lawsuit against the Red Roof Inn for like sex trafficking or something like that. We were talking about that last night. So it just adds more.
There is. Yeah.
So it adds more to the mystery.
Did you guys know that Angela Harris spoke on TikTok? On her TikTok. So Angela Harris was one of the ones that was helping the family during the search. I haven't seen a TikTok about that. Kiki, can you send me the TikTok, you think, or let me know where to find it? Did you know that, Mel?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
That Angela Harris spoke on TikTok?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Oh, no, well, actually, isn't that Anaya's mother, right?
Yes.
We watched it last night. She did a Facebook. I don't know if you saw the Facebook one, but she said she was going to talk about it again. She spoke about it yesterday or about the whole situation. Maybe that's what they're referring to.
Oh. Mm-hmm. She's not like speaking against any of this, is she?
No, she just says she doesn't know what happened. She feels like she did the right thing. She spoke a little bit about her daughter. She was very emotional. And she also said that like whether there's an abductor out there or not, she said there's predators out there all the time. So like, do you need to be safe? You need to be safe all the time is what she was saying. That was her message. So it wasn't like she doesn't really speak on it. She doesn't know. She said like she doesn't really know the details. There's things that she's not going to say. And she feels like in her heart, she did the right thing. You should definitely check out that video. I'll see if I can find a link because I think the Facebook one might be longer than what's on TikTok.
Okay.
And when I watched that video, honestly, the thoughts in my head, I felt her emotion. And I also thought like, if this turns out to be not what we're told it is, the story, that is effed up. That, she, to take her out there and all that. I mean, I know she did it. She wanted to do it, but I believe they asked for her help. So if this turns out to be not a case of like that, she was like kidnapped or like, I think even if it's mental health, okay. But if it turns out to be like something completely not, that is messed up to put this mother out there that was murdered, her daughter's murdered.
Are her parents confirming or denying a mental health issue with her?
They haven't confirmed or denied. Even law enforcement at the press conference, they were asked, this was Friday, they were asked, one of the reporters asked them about mental health and they wouldn't confirm or deny any mental health. Right. So that's where a lot of us are kind of like, well, what do we make of?
I can understand that too, because I mean, they also don't want to put her personal business out there too much. It may be irrelevant. So that could be why they're not, because I mean, it boils down to law enforcement is going to do their investigation. And normally in our experience in true crime, I don't think any of us can deny this is what they end up doing is they use a process of elimination in their investigations. So they're gonna take the theories that seem plausible, and then they're going to focus on those theories and then eliminate the possibilities of those theories to get to the truth. They're going to eliminate the rumors. They're going to eliminate any that's how they get suspects, is they eliminate suspects. Instead of focusing on one, they'll look at everyone and then eliminate one by one until they get to the most plausible one. So I think they do that with theories too. And we're just going to have to wait until law enforcement comes up with answers. But who knows what law enforcement's thinking at this point? I mean, it's just weird. She just showed up at her house, like after a few days, and she's apparently in shock. Do we know for a fact that she was in shock, or do we know if she was intoxicated? Do we know?
That's what Mom said in the interview this morning. She said that she was in shock and she was, hugging her, but trying not to, disturb whatever, evidence she might have on her. And I think the other part too is like people are struggling with, well, she was really, if she was fighting for her life, somebody fighting for her life. I mean, I'm thinking, what does that look like injury wise? And the boyfriend gave a statement before this interview, a couple days before, that she had been fighting for her life, same verbiage, fighting for her life from her kidnappers. And now it's like the family is also confirming that, fighting for her life and these kidnappers. So we have a problem. We have somebody out there, if it's true, who's abducting people off the highway using a baby or something, right? And releasing them, which is, I'm glad that she's safe and she's okay now, but who else is this going to happen to out in the road,
Well, and also, are we looking at like another Eduardo situation here? You know what I mean?
Oh Lord, not Letitia.
Law enforcement. Well, no, I'm not comparing her to Letitia. I'm just saying,
Eduardo.
Like, what if we got law enforcement running around looking for somebody who doesn't exist?
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this too. No, you're good. Let me ask you this too, because I saw SF posted this. He said this just made a bad situation incredibly worse. This forces Ellie's hands to make a statement, though. I don't think it's going to go well for Carlee. Do you think what the parents' statement put out today, does it make them have to kind of, because now the public's going to be more putting like, hey, are we safe? Are we not? Is this person still out there? Does that forces their hand more, or they're just going to stay quiet until?
I think it does. It goes back to no, but and again, when I say, let me go back to Eduardo. Isn't it Eduardo, or she called it Eduardo? I don't know, but I'm just laughing because I was thinking about how she pronounced it. Okay,
it's with a G, and everybody here is Hispanic, and I've never met a guy named Eduardo. But
Eduardo, I was like, what the hell is an Eduardo? And the G is so exaggerated. All right, I think it does. It takes me back just a couple days ago when Quanell X made the statements of what he heard. It forced law enforcement to do a bunch of things, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this is what now putting this out there, because you're putting it out there to today, to the mat. Now everybody's concerned about, well, is there somebody out there abducting women or people off the highway?
Yeah, I'd be concerned if this was in my neighborhood and stuff. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be so concerned because I don't really believe that there was somebody that like held her, like kidnapped her, unless it was somebody that knew her. I kind of lean more towards mental health. I wouldn't really, or maybe it was I don't think a kidnapping. I forgot. I don't know what the statistics are with kidnapping and stuff like that. Is it more than likely somebody you know or somebody versus like a complete stranger?
I thought it was somebody you know.
It's more the time I thought somebody, I have this whole website that I have to read still.
But why would she scream? That's where I get hung up on whether it's a person she knows or not.
Right. Well, that's a good question. And she screamed. But so, do you guys believe there's another person there on camera or not? That's what another thing I want to know. People are saying they see two people. I only see one person. Have you seen the video?
Yeah. I'm not seeing what the rest of the world is seeing. It seems like it just seems like it's just the one person. Yeah.
Because when she screamed, she was by the car. I don't know if she was still on the driver's side or she was on the passenger side when she screamed.
It's amazing because it's also the highway noise. Think of that. Nobody else. I would think there would be a struggle at that moment too, and nobody else is seeing that. I don't have radioactive eyes. We were talking about this yesterday. I said I don't know how you can see somebody else there. I saw a figure once. SF like it zoomed in and showed a little bit more where but he had to tell me where. So that's why I couldn't understand. I said, well, is it possible that she just got off the car and then ran to the woods? But the family has doubled down and said, no, this is my child was abducted. Who kept her for that long, right? And how did she get away? How did all of this go down? And how is the connection to the red roof, if there is one? And where's this baby? Was there ever a baby?
And why? And why was? I mean, the cops went to the red roof, right, and investigated, didn't they? So was there no kid at the red roof?
So the red roof thing. Let me just. JB made a post on it, right? Because at that time there was like a whole bunch of tension kind of going on. And with the red roof situation, if I can, oh, here it is. So at first, when this was happening in real time, which I was like sweating bullets, he says, regarding the red roof in social media activity in the Carlee Russell search, can confirm there's no significant police/search activity at that business at this time. But then he followed up because I'm like, we have the audio. Something happened. Maybe it was fake. He followed up after that. And then he says, can also confirm there was activity at the red roof in related to Carlee Russell's search, but the area was clear recently. So I don't know what the hell happened, but he did confirm, and we heard it in audio. They said her name. Something happened there, whether she was there or not, if it was fake or not. Something happened there. There was activity for some amount of time, and then there was none.
And this is the JB. For those that are wondering, where do you find that? This is his page, and this is the statement where Ikamel just read. Yeah, it's right there.
I love JB.
I don't know, man. Have you seen and so then Gray Hughes also did some like visual thing, whatever. I mean, people have been messing with this thing. I mean, and it sounds like you could see a figure. I don't know if you can see two figures, but you could see a figure there. I can show you those pictures from SF.
Gray has this track record of debunking things, and like when he debunks it, like, and he's sure of it, I'm invested. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm convinced.
But you know what I heard with Gray too? I heard that he I guess he got the whole like 9-hour footage. I don't know how long it is, like the whole thing. And some of the things that people were commenting last night is they were saying that right before you see her car like pulling in or something, like pulling on the shoulder, like coming up to the thing, they said that like she's off camera, but the lights are on for like 3 minutes before she starts pulling up. I haven't seen it myself, but they said she's just there. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows, because I know some people have seen that. Gray bought a whole 9 hours and shows that her car stopped twice. The video everyone saw in the second stop is the second stop. So she had stopped before. So I don't know what that means, what's going on. I haven't seen it myself yet.
That's crazy.
This is so grainy. Like that would never hold up in court.
The shadows.
I know, right? And then these are some pictures from SF. It says 151 standing forward and right from a car, and he puts a little arrow there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that right when he put the arrow there, I do see an image there. I definitely see like a figure, right? Excuse me. And then 159 to 201 appears to lean downhill. 201 in video, possibly walking downhill into the woods. So I guess the conclusion is it's very likely that she walked away, or maybe she saw something, or somebody that's where she saw the baby. Where did she see the baby, before or after she appeared on this footage? That's the other question that I had. Is this the only footage of her in the car?
They're mentioning Gray's video. With this image that you're looking at here, I mentioned this in my life too. The only direction I could see her going, she couldn't have walked forward because we would have seen it with all the lights from the cars. She couldn't walk backwards. The only direction would have been to go to the right and into the woods, like into the shadows, into the woods.
To the left would have been to the traffic.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and somebody's saying it's a planned hoax. I keep seeing that in chat, but what's the motive behind the hoax?
Yes. What's the motive?
Right. Like, what's to be gained from it?
They didn't do a GoFundMe. The Crime Stopper money isn't going to their pockets. Why would
Right.
this be a hoax?
And the families, at least I heard the family's well off. Like,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know why they would need money like that. It's
Right.
just not a good look.
No, and she's a nursing student too. It's like, why would this be a hoax? That's all I want to know. And somebody can give us a good answer, let me know. And then like and I get it. Like, it's not always about money. I know that people do things for certain, attention and whatnot, but I don't believe this is a hoax at all.
Yeah, but right. But I mean, but come on, like this whole family like just collabed to and conspired to pull off this hoax just to troll the world. What?
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
Someone said motive, deflection from school failure. Well, do we know that she's failing school?
That was a rumor that people were saying. I don't know if that's true. There was some rumor. There was some really crazy stuff. Like some people said that she I don't know, like they had claimed like took drugs. I don't know. It was some crazy shit. There's no way I can prove that at all. There was some type of thing where the nursing school thing and she was having trouble. There was a rumor about the boyfriend that they were having trouble. Then there was a rumor that some 17-year-old guy that she was with. There was all kinds of shit.
Did you hear about the Cheez-Its? What happened with the Cheez-Its?
My friend sent me that. I'm gonna have to find it. It might be in my text messages. There's a whole Cheez-It thing too, man.
Oh my God, man. Wow. Cheez-Its. All right.
Think about Cheez-Its. I don't know. I saw that and I said, what? Now that's not the Cheez-Its. You guys stop.
I mean, I could talk about Cheez-Its all day. I'm a big fan, but I mean, what do they have to do with this case?
Oh my God. Somebody said abortion. I know people have said something about abortion was up for being considered a murder in May, which I don't know I don't know about that. Some people say I'm not believing any of that. I'm not. If the baby was used to lure her, the perp would have taken the baby with them. There was no missing child report, so they couldn't be an Amber Alert. I don't know. I think so I am not like, I definitely believe in ambushes. I believe, because I've known of stuff like that happening more so in Mexico than here, where children, babies, animals are used. I mean,
yeah, that's one of the oldest tricks in the book.
Yes.
Supposedly is to use a child to disarm someone, as far as letting their guard down and luring them into a vehicle or whatever. But I mean, where's the kid? Right.
And now we have this issue of like, well, they're tripling down on this at this point, right?
Yeah.
We have somebody's abducting people out there.
And I think too, because of that movie, you guys heard of that movie? What is it, Sound of Freedom or something like that came out? About
I
trafficking?
heard. I haven't watched it.
I think that's like adding more to the whole kidnapping, trafficking thing. It's already been there, but like it's adding more of a stir to it.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to agree with Ick and Mel on that too. I haven't seen the movie either, but already ST is becoming always a working theory in every case that comes up. It always happens. Right. But the fact that that movie came out and everyone's talking about it is definitely going to add to that for sure. It's just naturally going to happen.
Right. Is it possible, maybe she saw something that looked like a baby and there was no baby. She's abducted, taken to the Red Roof. A lot of people have made that connection too, and maybe drugged, for that time frame. And then she was able to either leave or she was dropped off. And then then the issue becomes, well, who's going to leave her there for her to be able to identify a huge trafficking ring, I don't know.
Yeah, right. If it's a trafficking ring, they're not going to just let her go. You know what I mean?
Right. And that was the thing too. Some people were trying to say, because of the social media attention, the traffickers let her go because they got afraid and scared of the social media attention, which I just don't believe that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds a little tinfoil hatty.
Yeah, I don't know. But so where do you guys think this is going to lead us to with the parents? This is definitely going to force law enforcement hand at this point to make a statement.
I think the parents are definitely victims in this situation. I don't think that they're complicit in any way, shape, or form. You know, either they just have a fixed image of their child and feel like she can do no wrong, like a lot of parents do. And she just did what she did and didn't want to have to answer for it to her parents. Who knows? Or their child was a victim of an abduction. But one way or the other, the parents, I don't think are complicit with anything. I don't think that they could be blamed for anything, as we can see. So any attacking of the parents is definitely unfounded for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree too. And I know this is like an extreme comparison, and just the thought that popped in my head, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer's dad, like even after all that stuff, the dad still loved his son. They did interviews after, and they spoke, and so it's just one of those things. I mean, he knows what his son did, but I'm just saying, like in this case too, like that's her parents. So, you know, of course they didn't know what happened to her. She comes home now. They're just happy she's home, and that's the story that's been out. So, you know, they're gonna support her. I don't know what the police are gonna do.
Yeah, any parent is going to say, I mean, I know me, because, like, you know, we all have kids, and you know, that can have their moments, and you know, it's just part of parenthood where you're kids, and it's part of childhood where you're going to be manipulative towards your parents to get what you want. It happens. So in a situation this serious, I want hard evidence. If you're going to sit here and tell me that my kid did something like dupe the whole world because she wanted to just go off and party, you need to show me evidence of that. But here, I'm not this woman's parent. So I want to see evidence of everything. I want to see evidence proving that she wasn't kidnapped. I want to see evidence proving that she was kidnapped. But like I said, law enforcement, I think right now, the reason why it's taking as long as it is they have to eliminate everything to get to the core of the truth. And that takes a minute. It takes meticulous investigating. It takes resources. It takes time. I'm not sure the parents have all the answers. I doubt that law enforcement is sharing with them all of the information that they have, because they don't want to mess up their investigation. But I'm sure law enforcement's doing everything they can to get to the truth. I have no doubt in my mind about that.
And what if we never get any answers?
I mean, at the end of the day, she's safe. She's fine. Do we need the answers?
True.
You know what I mean? Like,
true.
At the end of the day, it could just be a family issue that turns out to be none of our business. And hey, best of luck with that. Hope your family works out.
Yeah. And I've seen that happen. I've covered a lot of local smaller cases. I even have some of the videos on my members thing, but like I've covered some of them, and like there's been plenty of stories where there's people go missing, and in some cases I found out more information, like whether it was drugs or like some other thing, but like in the news you never really hear anything else, because the family is just like, okay, like was whatever, we don't want to talk about it anymore. And if there's no crime to charge, then that's it. Like a lot of the times in the smaller cases, you don't get any answers. They just, when it's like that, when it's a whole thing of like a mental health or a drug thing, a lot of the times it's just kind of open and shut. Boom.
But then the argument becomes, and somebody said it, yes, we do need answers if it was put publicly. So, you know, that people make that argument as well, is that, well, this happened publicly and people are upset of resources. I'm still waiting for the Rudy Farias story to be concluded at this point. I'm like, I think I don't know what's going to happen there.
Quanell moved on to another story apparently now, the Dubai thing. He's on another story. The woman that in Dubai was screaming, and so they arrested her for screaming because they got like different laws over there. So I saw Quanell, he's on that case now.
Really?
So, yeah, I don't know what happened to Rudy, man. It's the Rudy effect. People don't believe shit anymore now.
And I thought there was going to be follow-up with that. I mean, I've only seen Grissy talk about it at this point. I haven't seen Quanell really do any more. I thought there would be a follow-up press conference at this point.
I know. Well, I hope that I feel like it seems like police. I think they're at some point going to make some sort of conclusion.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Carlee, going back to what we're talking about, with the public needing to know, I feel like because the parents are saying that there is an abductor out there, I feel like the police are going to have to at least say something. It might not be a lot, but they're going to have to say something publicly to at least like stop people's worries or something. Absolutely. It might not be what we want. It's probably not going to be detailed what happened and where she went and blah, blah. It's probably not going to be that.
Exactly. I was actually just going to say that in response to a comment somebody addressed me with, like, well, the police have to tell us something we're entitled to know. You highlighted the comment. I don't think that we're entitled to the details of this. Only her family is.
Right.
We're entitled with an update as to is there a criminal investigation taking place or is there not? Are they moving forward the investigation or are they not? That's the only thing the public's entitled to, if anything at all. Other than that, the details, that's between her and her family, unless there's a public threat. But you know, we just have to wait and see until law enforcement conducts their investigation or concludes their investigation.
She went missing, and resources were used to find her. Like anybody that goes missing, whether they choose to go missing or not, those resources were used to find her, and therefore that's what they're there for. So because people make this argument of, well, they use resources that they didn't need to. Well, you don't know that she was still missing. They couldn't locate her. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know, but I do think that this forces law enforcement's hand at this point.
I think so too.
I sent you the video to Rabbit on
You
Discord
did?
for Angela Harris for whenever.
Yes.
Whenever you look at it.
Yes. Hold up. Let me see. Thank you. Is this the one? Oh my goodness. Okay.
I don't know if that's the one they're referring to on TikTok, but this was yesterday where she was talking about Carlee a little bit, but they didn't really go into details and just gave some of her thoughts.
Okay.
Well, let's explore the word hoax, because I feel like people are, I feel like you continue to use that word, but you don't know exactly what it means.
Enlighten us, please. Thank you, honey.
Well,
sorry, I got my iced coffee now. I'm good. Let's go.
A hoax implies to me that it was like pre-planned, I mean, I guess maybe not, but a hoax implies to me that it was it was elaborate. It could just have been she just went missing and she told her parents something. Who knows? But if there's a hoax, the hoax is on her parents. She hasn't gone publicly and said anything. Right. Her parents just did, but she herself hasn't gone public to say anything. So there's no hoax on the public perpetrated by Carlee herself, at least not yet. So I just can't subscribe to the word hoax just yet. I don't see it. It doesn't make sense to me.
I feel like if it comes out that she knowingly, like this was a plan, then she went off with somebody, like this was a whole, it wasn't like a mental health thing. Maybe you can use that term. But we don't know that.
It's Mama Gemini. Why? Because we don't. I would have to agree with the glare. Like, come on now. That's not there. Nobody. We don't know anything at this point. I can't. Yeah. I don't know. That's just
I mean, like, it's so silly. Like, we're in the true crime community, people. We have to look for motive. We have to look for, we're going to start to talk about things like a hoax or a kidnapping or an abduction or things like that. You've got to kind of look at motive. There's no motive apparently there's no apparent motive about anything on anything that's taking place here. There's no apparent motive. So everything is completely up in the air. We're really nowhere closer to getting answers, even though the parents just spoke up. I mean, and that's another factor that we're not taking into consideration. Who knows what the dynamic is like between her and her parents? We don't really know what things are like behind closed doors.
Exactly. I don't know what Icamel blew up in the background.
That's lightning. There's always something going on outside. It's like the end of the world outside now.
Oh my God.
It's like, the lightning like right there a few feet away. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
There was no reward money for her return. I mean, well, yes, there was Crime Stoppers, but
they
not.
wouldn't have got it.
They wouldn't have gotten it. She returned on her own. I hope that
So
makes sense.
it does. I mean, because why would they destroy? Why would she just? What, she's just going to get sick of her little game and destroy her own hoax and destroy the chances of getting all that money by returning home on her own?
If it's not mental health, it's something personal. I think either mental health or something personal. If it's personal, we're not going to probably find out. They're not going to. I don't think they'd come out and be like, "Well, this is what happened."
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's it. I just don't. And she came back on her own, so it just doesn't make sense to even say Crime Stopper money. I don't even and I heard that they didn't want to refund it. I think part of it is that they haven't really requested it formally. I did read who were the donors, and it sounds like one of the real estate companies from the community is a donor. There was a couple people that donated money, but they're organizations that donate money when they can.
And I find it funny how people keep bringing up Juicy Smollett.
Oh,
like,
I saw that.
where are you? Where are you making this connection exactly? People in chat throwing that up. Like, please explain the connection. I'd love to know. Like, because I'm just not seeing the comparison.
I don't think it's comparable, but I think they're doing it because the whole, like we just talked about, you were saying the whole hoax thing, they see it as the same, I guess. But that definitely the Jussie Smollett, whatever, that was super elaborate and planned and concocted, and it was crazy
for publicity because
for publicity, right?
That guy was a celebrity. What, like,
right.
There's no.
That was crazy.
Me,
didn't he want to be like back in the show or something, and so he kind of played something out for his own, like, I don't know, I didn't really follow the whole thing. I just knew he was like in a show and
Juicy.
What he calls himself, isn't that his own like self-proclaimed nickname? Juicy.
I think it is.
Yeah. I don't know why people are like, what Juicy? Where are you getting that from? That's what he calls
himself. He compared himself to Tupac too. I forgot what he said. Did he say it like the gay Tupac or something? I think he said the gay Tupac.
Oh,
he's gay. So he said he's the gay Tupac, I thought.
Oh my God. Watch it thunderstorm again in your house.
I know, right? Don't speak on Justin.
Don't speak on Tupac. Oh my God. And everybody from Florida's in the chat. They're like, they don't know Florida weather. We don't. That was loud. Oh my God. Wow. And I still hear it.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's really.
I don't miss South Florida at all, but like it happens here a lot too. Like, I was live the other day, and like my live just ended because the power got knocked out.
Oh my!
I was like, man, like, yeah, it rains real bad here.
That's crazy. That's scary. That's crazy scary. Oh my God. So I don't know what's next? Where do we go from here?
You wait, like every other case. You wait for law enforcement. Yeah. It's all you can do.
Do you think they'll give us a conference this week?
Who knows? Who knows how long it takes to weed out all of the crap? I mean,
True.
the more people flood the internet with rumors, the longer it's going to take law enforcement to investigate, because it's more stuff they have to sift through.
But it seems that is a theme for every case here. If you think about it, every case is like, I mean, Idaho 4, speculation, and then they come back and they tell us, please don't believe everything that you're hearing, right? It just always seems to be the theme nowadays. It just seems like it.
The number one problem in the true crime community, in my opinion, is the flooding of misinformation that makes its way to tip lines. That I mean, people don't realize that cops don't want to hear your little armchair theories, bro. Like, you're not investigators. Like, stop calling tip lines and offering your little, 2 cents because you heard something on the internet. Because the cops, when they get tips on tip lines, they have to follow up on everything.
Yeah.
So that's more stuff that they have to follow up. So ironically, all of these people, these same people who are both calling tip lines and demanding answers, well, you're making it harder. You're directly making it harder to get those answers in the timely fashion that you want them by calling those tip lines with your ridiculous theories.
Yeah,
The other thing,
absolutely.
and to the tip line thing, I remember a long time ago when I was covering Malia Davis, a girl out of Texas that was like murdered. But I remember this lady reached out to me because they were getting inundated too in the tip lines. And I remember she called me one time. She's like, I need to talk to you. I know where she's at. I know blah, blah. And I'm like, did you call, report this? Yeah, I did. They're not listening. So I was like, all right. I give her my Google Voice. Let me talk to her to see what's going on because I don't know. She called me and she literally starts telling me, oh yeah, she's I don't know, empath or whatever. And she's like, I had this dream and this is where her body's at, this location. I started kind of like, damn, bro, this is like, but so they get a bunch of calls like that too. People having dreams or people having these visions and stuff. And then you get like just, and the body wasn't there. It just really, it wasn't in that location. And so that, yeah, I guess that takes time away too, you know, from that.
The sources. You would think that they would hire somebody to manage the misinformation too, no?
And then you got to think of where they are. They're in a town in Alabama that I never heard of. So I don't imagine it's very well populated, and I don't imagine that it's that they have a whole lot of resources to work with because this sort of thing probably doesn't happen there very often. So we have to also think, if they're flooded with all of these tips and all of these things they have to follow up on, do they have the resources to follow up on all of them and do it thoroughly?
And timely.
Do they have the budget? You know, are they prepared? Are they equipped? Is law enforcement in that area equipped for that sort of for this sort of volume?
I'd like to see what the body cam footage looked like when they arrived at the scene, when they saw the car. I'd like to see what they approach. Like, I'm just curious to know the 911 call. I'm curious to know all of these different things, right? Because I think it'll help paint a picture a little bit too.
And yeah, and with that 911 call, I saw Plunder. I haven't watched her video yet, but she, and the title, because I know she requested, she said, I requested Carlee Russell's 911 call and Hoover PD sent it to city attorney. So, but I haven't watched the video, so I don't know. Yeah.
So they haven't even released it yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're still investigating the 911 call. And that's what they said on the parent interview too.
Right.
I don't think she has it. I think they're investigating still, Joy. I don't think she has a 911 call. She might have like the dispatch, which I think everybody has that, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's, I mean, if Plunder can get the 911 call, you can get it.
We can all get it.
Yeah, come on. So I don't think the 911 calls out there. I think she has is the same thing that you guys have had, which is the dispatch recordings.
Keep in mind the 911 call doesn't have the scream.
Right. It was she was on the phone with family. Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you, I want to ask you guys two questions. One is shit, I lost my thought. Do you believe psychics help cases? Can they help cases? And then the other one, which is what I meant to say first, that whole situation with the brother, and I know you covered that, Rabbit. That's not really the brother, but I guess it's the brother in Christ. Do you think his intention was to mislead people, or he was really just talking about brother in Christ?
Ooh, why don't I ask? Let's ask the audience. Let me do a quick poll. Hold up. That's a loaded question. That's two questions in one sentence. Hold up. Do you believe? Let's ask the audience. Do you believe in psychics? How do you spell psychics?
Psychics have been known to help in investigations, but I don't think it's like the go-to. It's what it's when law enforcement gets to a point where they hit dead ends, and then they go, well, it can't hurt to follow up on what this psychic says, and then at times it has led to getting some answers. But I don't think that psychics are considered an investigative resource, a vital investigative resource by any means by law enforcement. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on psychics. So, yeah, I've seen, like you said, I've seen where they request. I think in certain cases, I think they'll just take it on or whatever. I don't think they actually help. I don't know if there's ever been a case. Some people claim that there is. I don't think there's ever been a case. I mean, I remember a video where they said there was this old video of this investigators, they were talking about they never really helped. And then there was one time this search group for Florida, I met up with them twice, and they were really nice ladies. And I asked them when we were driving up to Vero Beach, I was like, so do psychics actually help? And they kind of started laughing. They were like, no. Like they were like, no, they don't.
Whoa.
But the psychic community, there's a lot of people that believe in that. So you gotta be careful to speak on them because they're very strong about their feelings. People believe the tarot cards or the psychics and all that kind of stuff. I just think that, to me, because there's a lot of YouTube channels that do that, and there's a big following. People are really into that. I think they say general thoughts. They never really, to me, give really specific. They think the person's dead. They think they're in the water. They think they're in a grassy area or whatever. And so sometimes it comes out to be that,
under the guise of having some special power, right?
I
some of us could say the same.
I have friends that do. I have friends that do believe it.
Yeah, I'm on the fence on this one. Part of it is because I came from the Sylvia Brown era, the Miss Cle, you know what I'm saying? When you would watch, when she was on Montel a couple times, and you would watch her say when she, all these descriptions, and I would be like, oh my God, and I was younger then. I had some belief to it. I was younger then, so I was like, yeah. And then come to find out, just the fraud and the disappointment that these families would feel. I am a very I'm spiritual, right? I growing up, I've always felt that way, but I don't think that I have any type of gift. And I side eye anybody who says that they have a type of gift to be able to lead me to some level of truth. Some of it can be fun, but I don't know if it necessarily fits in true crime.
I think intuition is a thing, and I think that there's a way to fine tune your intuition. But I don't think that somebody is going to all of a sudden, connect mentally and spiritually with a spirit that's out there and lead me to your body's location. And then that just happens. There's a YouTuber who claimed to do that because she just threw a wild guess out there, and she claims to be psychic on her channel. I can't remember her name. I covered her one time and I just made fun of her. But she and then everybody attacked me oh, she solved this one case and guess where the body was. It was a body of water that was near the place. It was well, I mean, the cops would have found it eventually. What do you mean? That wasn't you. You didn't do that. It's just because you managed to guess a common sense place where cops should search doesn't mean cops aren't going to search there. And it doesn't mean that they wouldn't have found what they were looking for anyway.
Well, have we had cases where psychics have been correct about certain things? I mean, Mel, what do you think? Mel's over there in the apocalypse right now.
I think my whole screen, the power flickered, but I'm running on a battery backup as well. So the power flickering didn't kick me off. It just messed up my screen.
Oh my God. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It's the end outside right now. What were you saying about what?
What did I say? Do you know of any cases where psychics have actually been absolutely correct and have led to either an arrest or somebody having been found?
No, I don't know, but I've talked about my thoughts on psychics before, and people said that there is. I haven't seen it, but people have said that there is.
You said a psychic found Nicola Bulli? Really? I didn't know.
Oh yeah, it was the Donna Serafina lady. She's everybody loves that lady because she said that the kids were on Chad Daybell's property. Everybody who suspected that guy said that. Why is she, you know what I mean? Of course they're going to search his property, of course, and they're going to have to get probable cause and have enough for probable cause. Just because she jumped to that conclusion before the police conducted their investigation to get enough probable cause to get a search warrant to search his property doesn't mean that she figured it out before the cops did. So that's just asinine right there to just say, oh, well, she found, the Daybell kids. No, she didn't find the Daybell kids.
Oh,
the cops did.
Well, let me tell you what the audience says. I asked them do you believe in psychics, and 35% said yes, and 65% said no out of 310 votes. What do you guys think of that? That sounds like a lot. I mean, there's still more people voting, I'm assuming, but
65. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I listen. I've seen there is a big audience for it. There's a lot of people out there, and some people that do true crime YouTube that are, they believe they're psychics and stuff. There's a big audience for it. I was kind of shocked when I seen it, so it's not surprising to me.
What was your second question about the brother in Christ?
Oh, so that guy that he made that TikTok video, and it literally said, "This is my sister, Carlee," and all this stuff. And he caught a lot of flack. I think he deleted the video. He's uploaded more videos, but now he was saying that he meant brother or sister in Christ. Do you think his intention when he did that video was purposeful? Like he meant to mislead people and for clicks and views, because that's what the allegations were, that he did it for clicks and views to come off as he's her brother.
People have said that, and I think it was a Talks Baby Girl who was in the chat yesterday who said that a lot of us need to understand the term brother in Christ, because it's like we're misinterpreting that. But I think when he said my sister, I literally thought that his wife was the one on the phone with Carlee. So it did kind of confuse me. And then he later on said, she's our sister in Christ. But even when he said that, it didn't take away from the fact that he had already said my sister. So it confused me. It definitely confused me. And then I guess his TikTok grew fairly quickly by doing all that.
They said 70,000, according to one article, 70,000 from that video. Yeah.
Does he?
I don't know either.
Carlee?
I don't know. I felt like it was. I don't know the intention, but it felt very misleading to me. And he did the ultimate. If he was intentional, he did the ultimate clickbait, because which I don't even know, because clickbaiting, that's part of marketing.
Yes.
But there's ethics behind it, right? Like, so some people will like kind of clickbait, but there's not even in the video. That's like fucked up. You're clickbaiting something and it's not even there. You're just making shit up. But if you're kind of smart with it, that one to me is almost very borderline kind of deceiving. But he cleaned it up towards the end of the video and says, "I think we're brothers in Christ." He starts mentioning religion at the end, so it's kind of hard to tell. But it literally says in the caption, "My sister. This is my sister." But it's I don't know.
If his intention, I think the argument to that would be if his intention was to bring awareness to a missing person, because at this time that's what this is until it's otherwise by law enforcement. If law enforcement said this wasn't the case, then I guess we can go from there. But if his intention was to bring that, then he and I don't even know what ethics and clickbaiting means at this point, because I think everybody does a little bit of what they feel like is ethical. But I mean, he got people's attention.
You know what I mean? As long as you're not lying.
Right.
She was missing.
I mean, we tag things in our titles for the purpose of clickbait, do we not? The question is are you going to deliver in your content what you're saying you're going to deliver? That's the difference between ethical clickbaiting and unethical, in my opinion.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. And whatever, I mean, nobody is really, that's the thing about the whole ethics argument, is what is ethical and what isn't unethical.
Telling the truth and lying.
Right. That's what I agree with that. Yeah.
Let me tell you what everybody said. I asked the question if oh my God, people are still voting. Did the brother in Christ mislead people? 87% said yes, and 13% said no. I only have 180 votes so far. Wow. If his intentions was, I could see the argument for both. If his intentions was to bring awareness to his sister in Christ, then he did what he was supposed to do.
I've done that. Like I've brought attention. I've used clickbait to bring attention to things that I didn't think were getting enough attention, and kind of just duped people into like, here, you're going to actually click on something that you think is trash, but gotcha. Now you have to talk about something that matters.
Thank you.
So I've done that. I think in the past, like all my stuff now, people try to sometimes say, "Oh, you clickbaited," and so I'm like, "Okay, where's the lie?"
Right.
Because I don't put anything that's not there. I mean, unless it's a fun Reddit, we're just kidding around. But like with YouTube, right, and analytics, you need to make, like, say for example, a thumbnail. You need to make something that people are going to click. You don't have to lie about it. You don't have to deceive. But if you have a plain, boring ass thumbnail, nobody's going to click it. That's just analytics. That's just marketing. You got to have people, you got to do something interesting that people are going to click. Now, here's the thing. If you people click on it, right? Then there's something called click-through rate. There's CTR, click-through rate. I'm clicking it, but am I watching it? And then retention time. How long am I watching it? So if YouTube sees all this stuff, so you click it, people click it, and let's say you clickbait it, right? In a way that's like you're not delivering on what you say is in the title and the thumbnail. People are not typically, they're not going to watch that video. They're going to be pissed. YouTube can see that, and so if people are clicking and not watching, and they're just leaving after your videos, usually you're not going to perform. Usually,
exactly.
Right.
It's not going to be promoted. It's not going to be suggested. It's not going to be so. If you're not delivering either, you're gonna suffer for that. Even though I've seen people do unethical shit and they, it doesn't seem like anybody cares. They still click and watch apparently, but it's supposed to have a negative effect.
Right. It sounds like YouTube has. I mean, the algorithm is based on momentum, and so at the end of the day, it really just boils down to not so much YouTube, but the viewers. So and people, people can be stupid, but people generally aren't stupid, and they see right through that sort of thing. And if they disengage the way that you're claiming people disengage in that manner, YouTube catches on to that, and the algorithm just kind of fades out.
Yeah, I mean, he got the attention.
Exactly how it works. That's the best way I could explain it, being not techie at all.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So I've never seen this much thunder outside before.
Oh my God. This is the way that it sounds. I feel like,
oh my God,
like, don't get struck.
So SIRI popped up and I was talking, and I don't know if you guys heard anything I said, but SIRI, I was talking to SIRI the whole time. I just don't want to say it because she'll pop up again and annoy me. So I'm sorry if
that I'll say it, Siri.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really annoying.
Couldn't click to me. Okay.
So I just saw my whole, like, everything I said pop up in a paragraph, and then it goes, oh my God. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
And mine just went off just by saying her name. Let me stop.
See what I mean?
Yeah. Lisa says he got the word out. That's paramount in a missing person case. That's a good point, right? That was the whole point, is to get the word out. And he did it. So whether he said sister in Christ, he said it at the end, but I felt a little deceived by, like, okay, so I don't know what the relationship is, but hey, that is.
It definitely came off as like that's her biological brother. When I first saw it, that's how I took it.
That's how I took it. So when they said that they were talking to, like, a sister, whatever, I was thinking that it was in relation to him. And here's the thing is, what people, even in the 911 call, we're not going to hear a scream. We're not going to hear anybody.
Right.
So that's even going to be interesting, because they haven't released who the sister-in-law was, or what the relative, who she is, that heard all this commotion and screaming and whatnot in the background.
So it's like hearsay of hearsay, which makes it totally unreliable.
I mean, the only interesting thing is we'll get to hear her voice and maybe her tone of voice and how she sounded. Was she in distress or whatever? Or like, I don't know. That's about it.
Which will likely be a more of a behavior panels type of thing to go over. Man, I'm worried about you, Mel.
Yo, the power just flickered again. At least the backup battery is working. I know that.
Is your stuff gonna be like how, like, when power, like, doesn't that affect your, like, internet and whatnot?
So I have my modem. It's in the closet in the room. I have that hooked up to a battery thing too. So when the power flickers or whatever, my computer still stays on. The one monitor is not hooked up to it, so that's why everything kind of comes off and on. But, like, it doesn't shut off my computer. It doesn't shut off my internet.
It's just amazing that it sounds really that loud. Like,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, my power goes out, the internet goes out, and then I'm done.
I do have a surge protector. It's a battery and a surge protector thing.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
what are they like? Lightning strikes are pretty huge in Florida, or what?
You know what it is? I used to live a little bit more east, and it wasn't as bad. But for some reason, I moved more west, and this specifically this area. I don't know what it is. The thunder is insane here. I lost power a couple weeks ago, so that's why I started getting things kind of set up. But like, I don't know, the weather's just bad in this area, so I can't imagine what the hurricanes are going to be like. This is a really safe structure, though. Like, ain't nothing moving over here. But yeah, the thunder is right out there.
Well, there's a comment where they're like, the only thing that matters is he put the word out, you know. But if there's the information that this person puts out there is not true, that I don't think that
is he liable?
I think that matters. You know, like, remember Ryan Upchurch? We all can't forget him. Like, that was the big
right?
argument.
You can make that argument, right? That's for the people that want to argue that. Well, he's just getting the word out, falsely accusing people.
Right. Yeah. That's not.
I know, right? Yeah, right. Like, what do you make of
passionate?
Like
that passionate argument always kills me sometimes.
Yeah.
Too. People they excuse everything. Well, he's just passionate, so he can accuse people, make up all kinds of shit, say this girl is fake. Well, he's just passionate. Okay.
I love the passion. Just keep it in the music studio, homie.
Oh my god! I heard he got a couple of C&Ds from that. So.
Did you really?
That's what I heard from. Now I don't know, but that's the word on the street when it came to the Kylie Rodney case. But
you did or he did? You're saying he
did.
Oh yeah, I heard some more stuff too. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, there's been rumors of a lawsuit for a while, but I haven't seen anything official.
I'm pretty sure that's what took place because I feel like he would have spoke up on the Zav girl thing unless he was just trying.
I thought so too. I was like, "Where's he at?" I thought he was gonna have your back.
That's his people, man.
That's your people.
It's his people for sure.
That's your people.
Full
on
endorsement.
That's what I thought too, and nothing. No defense. No video supporting.
Oh well.
I'm just saying, it's just crazy. Oh man. So then I guess so law enforcement has 48 hours at this point. I'm just joking. There's no time. Who am I? But I really do hope that they come up with the statement at this point, or at least a presser. You guys know that we're gonna have a lot of questions. I still do. And what else are they gonna release? And it could be surprising. I mean, somebody could be arrested for this crime too. We don't know. I would be like, wow, you know, and if that happened. I even asked SF that. I said, what if they arrest somebody tomorrow or today? And it's the abductor.
Well, I'll follow the trial, you know, if there is one. But I mean, the bottom line is it's in law enforcement's hands at this point, you know. And I don't think anybody here should be getting their hopes up that we're going to get a full debriefing from law enforcement as far as details of what they found out. I think we're either going to get either there is a criminal investigation or there isn't, and just let the family move on with their own issues. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is some sound effects, Mel, in the background. I'm like, damn.
It's supposed to do noise canceling too, but I'm not on the.
It's not canceled.
It's just
we hear
everything.
It's not canceled. Oh my god. There is a side note, and I don't know if you guys are aware, but you guys, being true crime, are aware of the Michael Turney case, right? The Alyssa Turney case.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Blair, you don't know? It's from Arizona. So the stepdad that killed his stepdaughter was accused, daughter has been an advocate to finding justice. It's a huge case. Well, I believe the judge, he was acquitted yesterday. He'd been sitting in jail for a couple of years in Arizona. That's huge.
So he's been sitting in jail and then he was acquitted in court?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, but what were the circumstances? Was it because he was actually innocent, or because of a situation more or less like Casey
technicality? Something.
I think it was a technicality. You know, the attorney, yeah, it's a huge case. And it took his daughter to basically bring him to jail. This was the murder of his stepdaughter, who they believe he was sexually molesting and abusing for a couple years. And she runs away from home and then doesn't make it back. And then I don't even think they have a body. They never really found her body.
Wow.
Yeah, it's out of Arizona, and people. I mean, oh my God, the interview. He did an interview with Aaron Moriarty
Oh.
years ago. He did an interview with a couple of folks where you could see it. You see in the interview, you're like, man, this man knows more than what he's saying. So it's unfortunate that he got off, but maybe there was more to it. Yeah, evidence was lacking. Correct. I don't know about that. I thought it was a technicality.
There was something I saw. It says here that the defense argued that there wasn't enough. But okay, Michael Turney's defense team argued that there was no evidence that Michael Turney killed Alyssa, or that she's even dead. Is she still? Sorry, she's still missing. Like they never found her body.
They've never found her body, and her daughter went and interviewed with, I think Kendall Ray. She's done a couple interviews with a couple of big YouTubers. Yeah, so that's a huge. I mean, and some of these interviews. Let me see if I can pull one up. Hold up, not to get a sidetrack.
Well, that's. I mean, that's how it works. I mean, if you don't have a body or even any blood or indication that this child is dead, how are you going to convict on a murder case? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, if there just wasn't even any indication, any evidence of her being deceased, you can't try a murder case. It just can't be done.
Right. This is, y'all remember John Quinones? This is that interview. It was so she had run away, and then there were some conflicting stories. Allegedly she had called. She has never been found. Never.
Yes, I did. You know that oftentimes the first person they look as suspect might be family members.
He had cameras in his house.
That's just standard 101 investigations.
So
Maybe I should be myself.
You're fine. It sounds horrible.
I took it as fighting with someone for 6 or 7 years to get them to do what I wanted them to do.
But Mr. Turney, by refusing to answer their questions, as a former law enforcement person yourself,
I didn't refuse to answer their questions.
He was former law enforcement.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
To answer questions.
He knows what evidence they're going to look for, so he knows what to get rid of.
But they wanted to sit down with.
He was sexually he was molesting his own stepdaughter.
Wow. Is there evidence of that?
I don't know. I don't know what they brought forward or anything. This is coming from his own daughter.
Right.
Who she was the one that was setting the whole, like, for him to get arrested and everything.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of this from a jury's perspective, because the issue that we're discussing is the fact that he was acquitted. So from a jury's perspective, I'm just kind of thinking of it in that sense is I mean, were they able to prove that he molested his stepdaughter? Were they able to prove that the stepdaughter is even deceased in the first place? Much less, I mean, it's all in what you can prove in court. And if the prosecution failed to have enough evidence, they got to let him go.
Yeah. So, and it looks like, my bad. It was that the defense attorneys argued that the state did not present any physical evidence that Alyssa is dead or that their client caused her death. Her death. Since 2001. He's 75 years old now. And he was charged for the second-degree murder in Phoenix. I don't know. And yeah, he was former law enforcement. I think the wife had died of cancer. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this one. And so then it became her, and then there's a sister who's since been advocating for the stepdaughter, for his sister.
Look at that. It said police at the time determined there was no foul play in Alyssa's disappearance. They believe she was a runaway. I saw another article that they said that the last time they saw her was on May 17, 2001, Paradise Valley High School. Junior Alyssa poked her head into her boyfriend's woodshop class and said that her stepfather was taking her out of school early.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time they heard anyone saw or heard from her.
Yes. And I think they found her backpack in the house afterwards. They found her items in the house and afterwards. So yeah, they were I mean, he had surveillance in his house. So when she was having friends over, he was watching her sleep. He was
Oh.
Well, you remember recently, the name escapes me. I think her name was Oakley, not Oakley Carlson. But there was the UPS driver that took the kid, remember?
Yeah.
But it was the same circumstances. That little girl left angry, supposedly, stormed off to her room, or supposedly that was the last she saw. There was an argument, and everybody was throwing shade at the stepmother, saying she did it. Turned out she didn't. Turned out the UPS driver did it.
Right.
You know, so
Athena,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Wasn't there another?
Athena Strand.
Athena Strand. Okay.
Yeah. No, that was a huge one. You're right. And we were wondering about. Remember, they were accusing the mama.
Yeah.
Yep. They were accusing both, right? Like stepmother, because there was a stepmother and the mother, but the mother had like a medical condition or something, so she had to let the father
take care of her
or something like that. And so that's when everything happened. And so people were looking into the stepmom, and the dad was away at the time, I think, somewhere else, so they were accusing him too. And the living conditions, I think, were bad though, but it didn't have anything to do with them. But yeah, they were because there was like a separate house or separate shed. They kept them in a shed or something, I thought.
Yeah,
like a separate compartment or something like that. And so the kid was upset, and yeah, I guess that's how that happened. They stormed off, like Claire was saying. And yeah.
Yes. Oh, here's SF investigates. The father went hunting and left the daughter with the stepmom. Interesting.
Yeah. I think he's talking about.
Yeah. The one we were just talking about, the UPS thing.
Yeah.
Broken says to Chloe. Remember Chloe, that whole mess from Australia?
Oh my God. That is crazy. Hold up. I'm going to drop the link for SF if he wants to come up. He came up yesterday and he was giving us.
Oh, he was? Nice.
Yeah, he was giving us some commentary and was kind of going through the video with us. SF, if you check your Twitter, I sent you a link if you want to come up.
I haven't talked to him in a minute. I had him on my show once.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, so this one right here, I mean, I guess. And the sister has a podcast, by the way. Michael's daughter has a podcast, and I mean, she's accusing her father of having something to do with the murder of her. It's like of Alyssa. It's just crazy to me. But I'm just kind of wondering what happened or whatever. I mean, if he sat in jail for that long, he's 75 years old.
Yeah, I wonder if do they give people like that restitution sometimes, like some sort of, or who would he have to sue or something?
Probably, I don't know. He's 75 years old. I'm like, oh my God.
Sonia.
I know, Sonia, stop.
No, he'd probably love it. He loves the attention.
Yeah. I'd love to talk to him. What's funny is he has that he's got the lawsuit with his mom going on, and I watched the I wasn't going to cover it, but I watched the court proceedings, and what's really crazy is that judge in his court proceedings is the same judge that tried Joe Ray Daniels, and I covered that trial, and I love that judge. But the thing is I actually am fully in support of him in that situation. Like, I feel really bad for him. My whole thing with him is exactly what I said before. He just needs to stay out of the true crime stuff because he doesn't seem to have any interest in preserving the interests of victims or their loved ones. And that's a real problem, you know, when it comes to true crime.
I think it becomes like he's more interested in the conflict that, you know, getting into the beef with various bloggers and whatnot, and the controversy.
I think he just saw it as a big game, you know. He just wanted to play the game, and he wanted to troll our community on top of it, and he didn't realize through his lack of realizing that these are real people. He decided to, you know, play games with Ick and Mel and play games with Zanime and make these false accusations, not realizing the seriousness behind what he was doing. Like I said, I think he was just in his mind playing a big game, not realizing that it's not a game and it's not a joke. And
I think I mean, I had heard, I didn't see it myself, but I heard he did the same thing with Summer Wells. I mean, I didn't get to see that myself.
I didn't see that. Wow.
But
he did. He did, but he basically just jumped on the bandwagon of accusing the parents, which a lot of people are doing. But he did that a long time ago, and he did it when the case was kind of fresh. And I called him out on it then, and I lost, man. It must have been like 500 subs, I think.
Really?
People are like, how dare you? He's getting her name out there, blah blah blah. Same thing. And then he does, and sure enough, the same with Sav Girl, man. Like, I was just like, all right, people, whatever, but you're gonna see. And then sure enough, he showed his true colors with the Kylie Rodney thing, and then everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't know about all that. I don't know if I can support what he's doing there. And I'm like, he did the same thing with Summer Wells, just accusing people without any evidence. That's the problem. You can't do that.
SF will be here in about 5 to 7 minutes. Grain says, please publicly correct it. It was a FedEx driver, not UPS, on the Athena Strand case. Just a heads up.
I Caitlin in the chat, and I responded to her. It was FedEx, and I remember. Sorry, there's a lot of cases, man. You guys have better memories than I do. I have a terrible memory.
No, I mean, it's a little bit crazy. Give me one. No, so now I'm just kind of wondering too, like, no, what did it for me is when he said that Kylie wasn't real. I said, I know you. I know you're lying. Like, that took the cake for me when he said that. I said, this is how people do not matter to this person, that you're willing to say something like that.
It's just mind blowing. Like I said, it all indicates that he just thought of it all as a big game, you know, and for him to even blatantly say something like she's not real just indicates that he would entertain the possibility that nobody's real. You know, I mean, he just didn't care how his actions were affecting people,
other people,
and how his influence can affect innocent people. Because he got a whole crazy community behind him, enabling his insane theories. I mean, the thing with the breaking down the names on the piece of paper with the, like, I was like,
that was crazy. Crazy. Remember that? I was like,
yeah, we made some merch off of that.
Me.
That was pretty wild. Yeah. That's exactly. I really don't know if he was serious or not, like, or he was going through some mental thing or that. I just, like, I would think that's embarrassing or bad luck, but I don't know. There's people saw it as like evidence or some shit. I'm like, wow. I don't know what to think.
He did admit to recreationally taking Adderall.
Yeah.
So I mean, I it would be foolish to not consider that to be a factor. You know,
I have ADHD and I've taken Adderall, but I'm not taking it now. I haven't taken it in a couple of years, but I don't know how, when people have these like side effects that are just insane to me, like when I hear them, and I've seen people that have taken Adderall that shouldn't be taking Adderall, and it's just horrible side effects for them. To me, I could sleep while I take Adderall. So It doesn't, like, that's how severe my ADHD is.
Oh, okay.
It just doesn't do anything. I could drink a lot of coffee and still have a good night's sleep afterwards.
Wow.
It calms my nerves. Seriously.
Yeah. What happens if I take like prescribed medication for my ADHD? Like, it'll fix it, it'll help it, but it also just takes the light right out of me. Like the stuff that you guys love so much about me being
That's what happens to me.
So
That's what happens to me.
I'll be useless on YouTube if I take
When I first started taking, when I was prescribed it years ago, it was amazing at first. I was super social. I could not sleep at all and wake up in the morning. Like I could sleep an hour or two, take it in the morning, I'd be refreshed. Years later, like Blair was saying, it just kind of takes it dulls me. I'm super focused, too focused. People texting me, calling me, I would get really agitated if I was on Adderall because I feel like you're taking me away from my focus.
Yeah.
I'm not good at parenting with it either because I just don't have the patience that I normally have. Imagine me taking the calls that I take on live stream and I'm on Adderall. I'd be hanging up on people probably, you know, like it's I don't know. And then I've seen the whole thing too, as far as like the bad side effects, I think this people not sleeping, taking it for days on end, you could get some sort of psychosis, hallucinations, delusions of grandeur. I think not eating, not drinking, abusing it, that's when negative effects start to happen. SF!
Hey.
How are you?
How's it going?
What's up, Steve? Long time, man.
Claire. How are you? It's been a while.
So let me update you. Have you seen the Today interview with the parents?
So I was out running some errands and I just caught parts of it on you guys' channels, the stream. So I haven't seen it in full, but I saw some of the statements they made.
Let me show it to you, okay?
Yeah.
Today interview with Carlee Russell parents. They are, I guess there's somebody out there. That's what they're saying.
There's a hill to die upon, basically.
Yeah. Let me show you. We're gonna watch it again. Just let me know. I'm curious to know your thoughts, SF.
That moment you all first laid eyes on her again, what was it like?
To me, I mean, just so much joy.
This morning, in an exclusive sit down with NBC News, the parents of 25-year-old Carlee Russell are speaking out, describing the moment their daughter appeared on their doorstep after being missing for more than 48 hours.
What did you do when you saw her?
We tried to hug her as best we could, but I had to stand back because she was not in a good state. So we had to stand back and let medical professionals work with her. But
last Thursday, police say Carlee called 911 to report a toddler walking alone on the interstate. She pulled over while on the phone with a family member who described hearing Carlee scream.
Her vehicle's unlocked, running. All her personal belongings except for her phone.
On the scene, police found no sign of Carlee or a child, and they say no children were reported as missing during that time period. The Russells waited in agony until Saturday night.
There were actually just so many calls and texts from people who maliciously lied to us. I just didn't know people could be so evil.
Authorities have not indicated where Carlee was during the 48 hours she was missing or what happened. Her parents declined to share what their daughter told them, citing the ongoing investigation.
And can you tell me what happened Saturday night? Did you just get a knock at the door?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
But they say speculation about the circumstances surrounding Carlee's disappearance are only making things worse.
She's having to deal with the trauma of people just making completely false allegations about her.
Her family now urging the public to let the investigation play out, but mentioning an abductor. Her mother asking to read a brief message to the public.
Carlee has given detectives her statement so that they can continue to pursue her abductor.
Do you believe that there's an abductor still out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
NBC News has reached out to the Hoover Police Department to ask whether they're looking for an individual involved. Police have just said they're following up on all information provided by Carlee.
And when I talked to you all on Saturday, you also said your daughter is a fighter and she would find a way back to you.
I felt that in my heart.
Is that what happened?
She did. She found her way back to us. However, we can't discuss the details of that.
But they say one thing is clear.
Do you believe she was fighting for her
Oh,
life?
she definitely fought for her life. There were moments when she physically had to fight for her life, and there were moments when she had to mentally fight for her life.
But she made it back to you.
She made it back.
Yeah, she did make it back. All right, Priscilla, so investigators are obviously busy on this case. What are they looking into going forward?
Yeah, Hoda, right now they're analyzing that initial 911 call and also that traffic cam video showing that car driving on the interstate very slowly with its flashers on, believed to be Carlee's car. And of course, they're looking at the evidence from the crime scene, including the car and her cell phone, which was found on the roadway nearby. Police say that they have been able to account for all of her steps leading up to her disappearance, but those 48 hours when she was gone still remain a mystery. Hoda?
Yeah, leaving behind her phone, her pocketbook, and all those things, a lot of things that investigators are looking into. Priscilla, thank you.
Oh,
thanks
right.
for watching. Don't miss.
What, SF? Tell me your thoughts.
Well, I get why parents are protective of their kids and whatnot, but listen, this is not circumstantial evidence. I mean, we're seeing unedited video that does not show, like I discussed with you yesterday, abductions are violent incidents. Somebody comes out of the shadows to somebody that's already, we're told, been warned 2 minutes before by the sister-in-law that to not get out of the car in case it's a decoy, a trap. So you got to the bench, she's already pinging, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out of the shadows, which we don't see, and we don't see a toddler in a diaper, a male toddler. She was able to determine it was a male from, half a mile or 3/4 mile away, because she told 911 and she hung up on them. So, listen, they're violent incidents. People flail around. Somebody would have seen something. There's never a period of time, if you watch, where she's not illuminated for more than a second or so. There's constantly cars coming by. Somebody would have seen, when you have your hazards on the side of the road, we're all trained to keep that in our peripheral vision, because that's a hazard. You don't want to hit the car. You don't know if the car is going to pull back on the interstate. So everybody, whether they knew it or not, had some consciousness on that situation over there. And if a woman was being attacked, if a toddler was walking along the interstate, it would have not just been her that noticed it. And I don't know why they're going to double down here, but they are. But I think, I posted, about 30 minutes ago, right on the other side, on Atkins Trim Lane and Atkins Trim Boulevard, which is, on the other side of the woods where she would have had to come out. There is like a county power substation or something right there with surveillance cameras,
Yeah.
That thing the screenshot, you can clearly see up onto the interstate thing. And then, there's houses all along there. I fully believe that she's on surveillance in that neighborhood. And I fully believe that she's on surveillance at the motel, most likely. And law enforcement is just waiting. They're not going to show what they have until she gives a final statement. And from what the parents just said, it sounds like she's given that statement. So I don't think it'll be too long till they counter in some way, because now they are publicly saying that there's a threat to the public, the family saying that. So now you have to address that. You can't just say our investigation is ongoing. They have to address whether there's a possibility or not. And I don't see it. Nothing adds up. How, let's say she broke free from her captors or captors, whatever the situation may be, because that person maybe fell asleep or was in the bathroom, took a shower, whatever, and she gets out. She's not going to walk or run home. She's going to go to a place where there's people, like maybe a front desk or the office or somewhere, and she's going to get strength in numbers and be like, I've been abducted and I just broke free, call 911 or help me. You're not going to stay on your own and go home, and let your family deal with it. I mean, how risky would that be to walk miles and you would think your abductor would come back after you? It just, none of it makes sense. You know, I mean, there's a lot more science behind this than you know, all that there. And I don't think it adds up. If I'm wrong, then I'm majorly wrong, but I do not see any way this is an abduction.
Sean, and it's funny because people are talking about Gray Hughes's video. Gray's video was revealing, so he purchased the whole video. I guess there's much more on this video. Gray's video was revealing. I think it's possible that she could have been abducted before the car was pulled all the way forward. In that scenario, though, it would be her driving at the end. And I think law enforcement has confirmed that that is her driving at the end. I was under the impression that it wasn't. I thought, how do we know this is her?
Well, I think that they're able to, you know, keep in mind, they have timestamps, and I think there's a reason that I don't know if that footage, because you can pay for that footage from the Department of Transportation or whoever handles those cameras, and I don't know if they come time-stamped and that was stripped out or not. But the thing is that, you know, we see the law enforcement vehicle with the blue overheads come in at the end of that video, which is 4 minutes long. They said they were on, they said that they were on scene within 4 minutes. So it seems now they're saying 5 minutes, but originally they said 4 minutes. If, you know, so I think what they're doing is they're giving us that whole time period and just throwing it out there, and saying from the time she called us to report she had seen a baby, and then apparently hung up on them and called the sister-in-law. And that's another thing I think is a really, really big part of this case is there's a reason that the family will not give the sister-in-law's name, information, and nobody's heard that yet. She would be the one that everybody would want to talk to, it seems like. She was the last person on the phone with her. So who is this person? And what does she have to say? How come we're not hearing, you know, it seems like we've heard from a lot of people that are family or Christian family, whatever, but we're not hearing from the most important person. And I think that law enforcement is crafting these statements in a very calculated way. And one part that stands out to me is when they say, you know, they talk about being able to retrace all of her actions, and then they say, Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34. So I think what they're saying here is she might have some people that,
yeah, that's pretty telling,
kind of said what really happened, you know, because why would they just randomly throw out there in a pretty brief statement, Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on the path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34. I think that what they're saying is people have told us, you know, some truths. That you wouldn't just throw that in there.
I am gonna download a little bit of snippet of Gray's video that apparently is supposed to be a little bit more revealing. And of course, we're gonna give him credit, and I'll make sure I put his link in the description box as well as in the chat for you guys to check out the whole video. But it's giving me, I have to take a couple of minutes to do it. So just giving you guys a heads up. What do you think though? I mean, but the parents now saying this completely supports the boyfriend's statement, kidnapping, as well as what is it? She fought for her life.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. When he came out with that statement yesterday, I think it was yesterday morning, right? I thought the family's got to like distance themselves from that. And when they didn't, I was like, you know, what's going on here? But apparently now, this is their story. And then nothing has really in their statements. There's been these things that have been off, and I think they're important. You know, one thing that really stood out to me is, when I announced on Twitter that I had heard that live, that scanner from the Red Roof Inn. You know, people started wondering what the hell was going on, and immediately, and Mel, I think you probably remember this. Immediately, family members and people directly related to her came out, and they were attacking that I reported that. They weren't attacking like somebody is making these false calls. They were saying, they're making it sound like what I was reporting was BS, and or what I just put out there. They weren't saying like, I can't believe somebody's using our name, somebody's making fake 911 calls. They never said that. What they said is the reports of that are BS. And then, you know, stuff like when she came home, they gave that information to a reporter, and I think it was a News Nation reporter, female that called it in on the show, and she said, and reporters don't like fill in gaps, so she said they specifically said she was dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
But then the official statement is she walked home, and you know, and then there was, you know, the mom specifically said in the interview when this huge search was still going on that, you know, she stopped for this baby. She couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl. And then all of a sudden it's definitely a male. It was called in as a male, you know? So all these like little things that just don't add up. And there's 4 or 5 other instances, you know, that are like, well, you know, I mean, because details matter in these things. You know, every word's going to be analyzed, and I think they know that. So I don't know.
Do you think, SF, do you think this, with the parent statement today, that kind of forces law enforcement a little bit, or kind of pushes them a little bit to now have to say like, hey, whether the public's safe or not, or is there a danger?
Yeah, I think they got to say something today, because one, it's a very valid. It's not so much even about, listen, it does ultimately get to the case, but people are going to say, listen, is there a danger to this community? I mean, I tweeted at them and Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, which is the state agency, because it is a fair question. And, you know, it'd be interesting to see if Aaliyah, the state agency, comes out and says anything, because they're the ones who decide if a critical missing alert goes out. And, you know,
right.
And Hoover said they submitted the information, all the evidence they had, to Aaliyah, and it's in Aaliyah's court. And Aaliyah did not do anything. And not only that, if you go back and you listen to the audio that Mel put up, in the scanner, when they're just arriving at the car, and they're talking about having the drone team come out, and they were trying to get an airship up with FLIR, the watch commander says, put a bolo out, go ahead and make it statewide. And then the sergeant, whoever was handling that, comes back and says, I put the bolo out. Do you want me to mark this as a missing person case? And he tells him not to do it at that time. And that's kind of telling. It seems like, you know, and they do talk about how the family had shown up by that time over on Atkins Way or whatever. So you know, he specifically told him, don't tag it as a missing person case yet. So, and then it's only referred to, I think, one time as a missing person case. That's that first day. And then law enforcement and all their statements after that refer to it as like an incident or something like that. They don't use missing person anymore.
But isn't it fair to say, I mean, you're saying that law enforcement should definitely come out and say something today. And I realize that some people in the chat are saying, well, law enforcement has to, they're required to let the public know whether there's a public threat or not. So, but wouldn't they have to still thoroughly investigate whether there is a threat or not before they make that statement?
Yeah, I think that if they come out today and talk about it, it's probably not going to be too specific to Carlee, although they'll be talking about her. What they'll say is, you know, regarding a threat to the community. I mean, if there's a threat to the community, they absolutely have a responsibility to come out and say that. But if they don't come out with anything, that's just further indicating there is not a threat to the community. But I think, because listen, I mean, you got the New York Times writing about this.
Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it. And it's not a huge department, you know, it's not a big agency, and I'm sure they feel like, you know, because when you know, like, things that you can't disclose yet.
Yeah, their resources are extremely limited for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but I think that they know. I think that they know what happened. I think they have the surveillance from Atkins Way. I think they have surveillance from her walking home. I think they have surveillance probably from the motel. I think they probably have statements from whoever she was talking to. They didn't put that in there about, you know, Carla communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel. They didn't put that in there for no reason. So I think they have statements from other people. I just, you know, I was convinced from the beginning this was a mental health episode, which, as I said yesterday, that is still a missing person case. That person believes that reality that they're perceiving. But with all this, now I'm starting to think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this was planned. You know, I hope not. But
what would be? We were discussing this earlier before you came on.
Yes.
What would be the motive for planning this?
I don't think that this was anything that was financially motivated. I think if that's what's happening now, I think that it was for. And you know, it doesn't even make sense to me why you do it to, like, get a boyfriend back, or if you're having an affair. But it seems like the parent, the only thing that I can think right now is that the parents have said the loss of reputation is going to be so huge. We just got to go with the original story, you know, because there's a certain amount of the population that is going to believe that, you know, that can't, you know, like, listen, we saw this in Carlee Russell and Eric. And there was a lot more things to question in Carlee Russell than this, you know. So, I mean, I could see, like, some of the reasoning why people might think this looks like that. This you can't make work. You know, you listen. So, in order for this to work, we had to have not seen a person or persons come out in a violent incident, take a girl that's 150 to 160 pounds that you would assume to some degree is fighting back, and then also have a toddler in a diaper that is following them, like, on command, because, you know, you don't have a free arm to, and, like, almost like this 4-year-old is trained to do this, to go through, you know, grass and weeds that'd be higher than the child. You know, it just doesn't make sense, you know. And also, just how does she stop at the exact spot where this person be laying in wait for her? Just they're you know, and the big thing is they kept saying is that there was this person in the gray car, and the gray car is not there. You know,
that's the other thing. I was wondering that somebody reported that or something, right? Some sort of gray car, another individual.
Supposedly a truck driver called, and listen, I guarantee they're looking into that truck driver to see if there's any connection to them. But, you know, in every case, people witness statements are typically horrible because, you know, people want to help, and so they start thinking that they saw things, and then it kind of becomes more and more believable in their mind. They kind of build on it, you know, and that's why we have to rely on stuff like this, like the surveillance.
Yeah, there's just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of evidence at all to indicate that there was an abduction. There just doesn't seem to be.
And but rightfully so, which is, I mean, there's people that live in that community that are, especially women, that are probably panicked, you know, like that probably aren't watching it as, you know, like, or seeing every little piece that comes out. You know, they're just watching the nightly news, and then they're
Right.
gonna see Good Morning America and be like, oh my God, there is a kidnapper in my community. There's people probably aren't going out and doing their daily routines and are probably, until this is solved, until they know, is it safe to go out?
People are calling the non-emergency number to find. I mean, I saw that on Facebook. I know, Mel, you played that clip too. They're actually calling the non-emergency number to find out if there is somebody to be concerned about in the area. So that's why I said, I was like, damn, like, if and to me, it's like, I always put the victim first. I think we all do. But if there's somebody out there, this is this is completely, criminal, but also very calculated to have used either a baby or something that looked like a baby to get this woman off of her tracks to abduct her. And that in itself completely concerns me for that community, as well as everybody that is in that area, right? This is the video that it's a snippet of Mr. Gray Hughes. I put his channel in the chat. You guys check him out. He's very good at debunking, as the Glare was talking about. I know the mods put the Glare's channel in there, so you guys can check him out as well. You guys know Ikamel, of course. Check him out. SF does not have a channel. He's on Twitter. You can go harass him over there and follow him. Follow his Twitter. That's where we all go bug him and stuff. But SF brings a lot of awareness to missing persons, and then he has, in my opinion, you have this thing about mental health. That's a huge thing for you that I've seen you, do very well, and you treat these cases very well. So I appreciate your work, SF. Let me play this clip.
Rabbit, can I give a little context to this?
Please.
So this is what my mod told me, because I've never seen this, but I hear a lot of people talking about this, and he does do a good job with overlays and video editing. So it says here, so he obtained the footage that said from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. I heard he paid for this. He bought the whole thing.
He did.
So he obtained the footage from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. So he overlaid the time. So this time, it doesn't come with the footage, I believe. He overlaid the time.
Okay, they overlaid. Okay.
Right, that's important to note. But then there was a jump of the video, and he realized that there was like 2 minutes missing, and so then he adjusted the overlay. So this is his timestamp. But so the biggest thing here to see is that, but you do see her off screen for 3 minutes before she pulls up. So this is what everybody's talking about. For 3 minutes, she's like off screen, so that just so people know.
Okay, and so they're talking about the vehicle or her, or
I'm thinking the vehicle.
Okay, I guess we'll see.
All right, let me go ahead and play it. I guess we can give commentary because there's no sound to it. I'll remove us so we can see full screen.
Okay, there it is. Bottom right-hand corner. Mm-hmm. So she stopped for 3. I guess that's what they're talking about. With the blinkers on. So yeah, I haven't seen this. This is what everybody was talking about.
So that is the hazard lights.
Yeah.
Even though we can't see her. That's what's blinking on the bottom?
Yeah, it looks like the right-hand side, her blinkers are on, her hazard lights. She's at a full stop. Dan says, glitch at 30-minute mark. Headlights as flashers come on into view. 31:30 mark. Car comes into view, 34:40 min mark. Time cuts from 9:28 to 9:30, so that's the 2 minutes we were talking about. So I want a police cut that out, maybe, or it's just, I don't know, cut.
It's just a cut there. Someone said, just keep watching. You'll see the car moving.
That's her. Oh, let me not read that. Hoax. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is interesting. The fact that she's there for several minutes and then does. And so when does the call take place? While she's there?
9:34 is when she's supposed to call 911. So she should be calling there in the next 10 seconds or so.
This is weird. I think it makes it, I don't know, look even more kind of sus. Some people believe, well, this is where she's getting kidnapped, and then the kidnappers move the car up and dump her stuff. But if the call takes place after, that doesn't align. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because she's on the phone with him and then calls his sister.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law.
Yeah.
The traffic, I mean, and not that there's probably a difference between being there versus what we're watching, but the traffic is not like heavy speed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like.
Mm-mm. And nobody's like hitting their brakes like they're
right.
Like they saw something going on back there where you slow down to keep looking in your rearview mirror.
And again, you guys can find the
phone with 911 now for the last 20 seconds or so.
Right. She would be right now, right? 9:34.
Yeah, she's probably now connected to an operator. You know, I don't know if it is in that time, but like here, you'll connect to 911, then they'll route you to either that. All right, so that would make sense.
He's moving the camera.
Is so weird.
Now, is he doing the edit this way? They didn't give him the footage like that.
No, I think he's zooming in. I think.
Okay.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's zooming in. Wow.
I wish Gray would have done, and I hate to nitpick because Gray's awesome, but like I'm sitting here thinking that I wish that he had done the same thing with the Kylie Rodney case and purchased daytime time and then overlapped the daytime over this so we could see it more clearly. Because he did that with the Kylie Rodney thing, but maybe if he did that, the lights would have affected it and not made it any better. Maybe, I don't know, but.
Deets on the Street says down the rabbit hole news, go back to the beginning before the 2-minute mark. There was another, there were, that's where the other suspicious car is. All right. So after, I guess you can rewind it back and see, I don't know, you see that?
So
yes.
And I remember when I watched it originally, another car at some point comes by from the right to left lane. They have their hazards on too, and they keep going. So it almost makes me wonder if there was a second car, because somebody picked her up somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
There's the car. There's the other car with the hazards right there. Oh, they just
yes. Let me go back because Deets. Give me one sec. And again, you guys check out Gray Hughes Investigates. He's the one that's been. I guess he got the whole video full hour, and he's doing a lot of like the zooming in and everything for us to be able to see a little bit more.
So, you know, that other car with the hazards kind of like stuck out to me because it was in the right lane. And then kind of moves towards the middle as they're getting closer. And that almost makes me wonder if that's who police are alluding to when they say they knew who she was on the phone with up until the time she called 911.
Wow. Brianna says the first stop when we can't see her, if Gray's car was there, if a gray car was there, it would make the gray car with no taillights more suspicious to me to be involved. It may be involved.
But it almost makes you wonder if is the gray car her friend? Is that who picked her? You know what I mean? Like, is that who law enforcement's talking about when they say communicate her cell phone with individuals known to her on her path of travel? While on her path of travel.
Couldn't have that still been the parents? Because she called her parents after the 911 call.
No, they're talking about before. It says Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. This is the exact statement. So what they're saying is we know who she was on the phone with before 911. So is she talking to possibly the gray car? Was there a male there that got out and like talked to her, like, but like someone she knows, you know,
right,
to pick her up?
And then Dietz says it's not your full footage, Rabbit. You need the full version. I would direct everybody to go watch Mr. Gray Hughes Investigates in his channel, the full footage, because this is literally just a snippet to the 9:34 p.m. mark. And that was what we were missing. We were missing like a timestamp. But I mean,
Right.
so here
So-
she is stopped.
But that I do find it odd that other vehicle with the hazards, and so it makes me wonder if somebody else is involved in this. And I mean, and I'm not talking about abductor, just so everybody's clear. Like if this wasn't a mental health break, which I was hoping it was.
Right. Ooh, it's just weird. And then he zooms in and actually follows up the car.
I wonder if his footage, I guess it does, like, that is just the camera angle. She happened to stop right before, I guess, she came into frame. Obviously, he would have chopped her out.
I don't know. What do you think, Steve? What do you guys think?
This makes me think that possibly this was some strange plan, and what their end goal was, I don't know, but this makes me think that it's probably not a mental health crisis, and there could be more people involved in the in whatever this plan was, and maybe I don't know. It's a strange statement by the boyfriend yesterday. It was pretty hard, like she was fighting for her life for 2 days.
I mean, like, the thing is, like, again, we all kind of want to touch on this with kid gloves, but when you're looking at something like this, there's a lot of suspicious stuff, and you got to think, well, why would the boyfriend say she was fighting for her life? Why would her parents say she was fighting for her life? And why would that contradict everything else that we're looking at? And that would tell me that, it's just speculation. I'm not saying this is the case, but the possibility that maybe she wasn't honest with her boyfriend and parents about some other thing in her personal life. But it doesn't make sense why she would call 911.
Yeah, right.
So
let's see if that car is in the first lane or second. That other car with the hazards. If it's in the far right lane or middle lane, I think it goes from far right to transversing to the middle lane, if I remember.
Yeah. Hold up. Let me go
back.
back.
That's what I saw too. I think I saw that too.
That is an important, or that could be important for them to look into, because
that is, oh my goodness, yo guys.
Well, it'd be at the very end.
But the thing is the second car also corroborates her abduction story.
Well, it could be. It also could be show that there was.
It does, but it can.
It could be that that's the car that picked her up on the other side of the woods, and they were,
That's what I'm saying. It could go either way. It's
right.
Who's to say? You know.
So, I mean, people that believe the abduction story would then use that as this is her abductor. But if you're on the phone with 911, I think you pretty much tell them at that point, you got to think your life's in danger. You would tell them, oh, by the way, I'm being abducted right now. And,
and the true crime community wants to jump to the most dramatic conclusions.
Well, that's the thing. And we see that in a lot of cases. And, kind of keeps the story going. But, looking at it from an investigation side, where you're just trying to get things back to normal and closed up, it just doesn't make sense, and if there was an abductor, I mean, I hate to just be so forward about it, but I mean, she would have been killed in this situation. I think, if the heat really came on them. They're not going to just release her and be like, okay, don't tell anybody.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. But if she fought for her life and escaped, you know what I mean, which has happened.
Right. But the first thing you would do, I would think, especially when, I mean, she wouldn't necessarily know the whole world's looking for her if that's the case. But I don't know, if it was me, I wouldn't walk miles and miles and miles home. I would, you're probably exhausted and confused and scared. I think you asked for help. It was only,
I thought that too. I mean, but then who knows what mental state she was in, and she felt like the safest place to go and the only people she could trust because she's so traumatized from her ordeal is her family.
Right.
I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I just want to, you know, because I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
I know. No, I mean, like, listen, and this is why I think law enforcement's got to give some sort of initial indication if there's a threat to the community, because there's people that are not looking as in depth to this as all of us, you know, in this community are, that are just getting tidbits from Good Morning America or whatever, that are genuinely scared. If there's like, can they go walk their dog at night? Can they take their kids to a park, you know, after dark? You know, is there an abductor in the community that's using a kid as bait? And then we got the issue of, if this is the case, we got a 3 or 4 year old that is in real trouble that we need to find. That, I say we, meaning just, you know, not that'd be law enforcement's job, but that needs to be found. And so far, there's no mother or anybody that said, you know, this could possibly be my kid. My husband's been, you know, or my boyfriend's been doing this or that. There's just nothing, you know.
Right. Why if there's a kid on the side of the highway and everybody and their mother has a cell phone these days, why was no child being reported on being on the side of the road at least? Like, not everybody would stop. I get that, but like 90% of people at least would pick up their phone, I would think, and be like, hey, I don't know if this is an emergency or not, but there's a kid on the side of the road, like on the side of the highway. Weird.
Exactly. And I think that the second car is going to come into frame here any second. And it'd be interesting to see if they're in the far right lane.
I'm hoping that, did we capture it on this video? I think we did.
Yeah, it was, well, if this is the same one you played, is this
yes.
the same? Yeah, so it's going to be right. It was the last 10 seconds of his video.
Yeah, it should be coming up. I don't know. I'm split, and I'm just, and now that law enforcement is forced to say something.
There it is. It's in the far right lane.
Oh,
it does.
I remember right there.
I remember from watching it on the original video. It's the far right lane, and then it moves into the middle lane.
Yeah,
closer to her. So that's a car that seems to indicate that it's getting back on the highway, and they forgot to turn their hazards off.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last couple seconds of it.
Yeah, but if you watch the footage that's out there from like Fox or whatever, it shows it go all the way past.
Yeah. Yeah, he passes, and I thought he goes into the middle lane or something like that.
It would be interesting to see, because I didn't trace the car afterwards, because in that original Fox footage, you can see people starting to pull off on the exit, and it'd be interesting to see if he comes back in to the right lane, like he's going to exit, he or she, the driver.
If this is, oh my goodness, you guys, it's just a lot of questions. I don't know. Yeah, I'm more confused than anything at this point.
Yep. I think they got to give an initial statement as whether there's a threat to the community. I'm sure if she did give a statement, you know, like the family did, doubling down, then they're probably going to absolutely make sure they didn't miss anything, you know,
right.
Like, the last thing they wanted, you know, but they can still come out and say, listen, you know, everything, all the evidence we have, nothing supports that there's a possible threat to the community. And I think they got to come out with something like that. If they don't, I think by tomorrow morning, they're going to start looking like the bad guy here, you know.
I mean, if you mean the family?
No, I mean, law enforcement. Law enforcement at this point, I think, does owe an answer whether they believe there could be a threat to the community or not. I don't think that we're owed answers yet on, I think I give them a little time to make sure they've really investigated, but is there any, you know, is there a bolo out there for? Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, I think they got to address that. You know, like, listen, we don't have any bolos out there. ALEA, which is the state law enforcement agency, doesn't have any reason to believe that there's a threat. Hoover, we don't believe there's a threat to the community. We haven't seen anything, and kind of, give us some read between the lines. But I don't think this investigation is going to take very long to wrap up. I think that those images that I tweeted a couple hours ago or hour or two ago, I think there's surveillance on the other side of those woods, especially since there's like a county, some sort of county facility there, literally overlooks the highway and Atkins Trace Road or whatever it's called. I think there's surveillance, all along there.
What if the abductor was a cop?
Yeah.
What if the abductor was someone she knew?
Yeah. But what gets her to stop? You know what I mean? Like, how does that kid
play a part in this?
She clearly saying, and I'm just trying to replay that Good Morning America piece that you showed me when I came on. Did they mention the kid or just the abductor?
Kidnappers. No kid mentioned.
They didn't bring up anything about the kid.
I didn't hear anything about a
no
child.
kid mentioned.
So I wonder if they're trying to like distance themselves from that narrative. And if they do that, then we got to say, okay, then why did she stop? But she told 911 and the sister-in-law. And who is the sister-in-law? There's still these questions that
we have, right? Mario says all those cars, all those people, cell phones and dash cam, yet there's no footage of any of the other car. I don't buy this story one bit.
And I think that's a very good point, because you see a lot of not a lot, but you see several like either 18-wheeler rigs that aren't carrying the tractor trailer part, and some that are, but most of those now are equipped with dash cams for insurance reasons. They get an insurance break if they're always filming. So if there is an accident, the insurance company sees exactly who was at fault and what happened. I got to believe one of those, and they probably just can't say anything because they probably contacted law enforcement or something, and it's probably part of the investigation.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Rabbit, I sent you another extra 25 seconds that Mo clipped from that vehicle that SF was talking about.
Oh,
with the blinkers on. So what happens? It's in the right side and it goes to the middle. I think they're telling me it's like carrying a trailer or something. It's carrying a trailer or something. That's why it has its hazard lights on, because there's no lights like on the trailer.
But you don't put your hazard lights on for carrying a trailer.
I don't know. I sent it though, so take a look at it. It's only 25 seconds.
Thank you, Mo. I'm gonna let me upload it. I have to upload it to like a drive, and it takes a couple. Well, this one should be shorter.
Yeah, it's pretty small,
so it won't take that long.
Sorry, I have to address this. Baby doll Diaz, that's a very dangerous thing to put out there. Anybody could be trafficked. Literally anybody.
Absolutely.
Don't say things like nobody's going to traffic a 25-year-old woman, because that's just not true. Anybody can be trafficked.
Thank you for addressing that, Glare, because there's a lot of misconceptions, misinformation, especially even SF addresses about mental health illness with missing people and how there's like a stigma with that. And I appreciate you saying that, because it's very common to have those two elements work together.
I mean, it is so common. I mean, on the cases we work on, it's the majority of it. I think we got to get past this like stigma of it. And there's still missing person cases because that person believes what they're interpreting, even though that might not be reality. They are convinced of it. And so what they're doing is they're hiding. We see it in schizophrenic cases so much, where we find the people, literally hiding in random areas because they believe that they're being surveilled by cameras or electronics. And we always see them leave their electronics. Anything electronic, we see them leave behind. They perceive that as that's really happening. So that is a missing person case, because they're not trying to fool us. They're actually trying to hide, So there's a big difference between mental health crisis and a hoax. And I was convinced this was a mental health crisis, and I'm starting to think that maybe it's leaning more towards a hoax, but I hope not. I hope that
Yes.
I hope that what this is her family just really being like, we didn't see this coming on, and that's so often the case. You know, when a person finally hits that inflection point. I hope that it's just them saying we didn't see it happening, so we believe what she's saying. You know, and it, you know, because mental health is so tricky.
Yes. I have a family member with schizophrenia, and like I said yesterday, is it happens, her diagnosis was later on in life, in her 20s, and it just kind of hit. So for me, it's like it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. And you know, she goes missing, we gotta figure it out. This is that clip.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. And this is,
I mean, if there's if we're not looking at an abduction, I'm definitely leaning more towards drug use than mental health issues. Possibly, I mean, temporary mental health issues,
right.
but you know, if this is not an abduction, what it looks like to me is there's a side of her life that her closest loved ones are not aware of.
Exactly.
Yeah. She came up with some wild story to justify why she would disappear on a bender for a couple of days. You know, that's what makes sense to me if it's not an abduction. That would be my closest.
And that would, you know, that would make then it kind of be understandable why the family thinks that. So I understand. So I see what people are saying about. I think there's a couple times when as the flashes are turning off, I think you get a better silhouette of the vehicle. And
yeah.
Can you play it one more time before I?
Yes.
Because
let me see if I can go back a little bit. It's only 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe I could slow it down. Give me 1 sec. Let me do that. Let's go to 5. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything personally. I don't think there's anything deep.
It does have the. It almost makes me wonder, could that be the Ford F-150 they talk about over in the neighborhood that the family's in or somebody's in?
Why did they have their hazard lights on?
That's the whole question. And they're in the right lane.
And they're in the right lane.
To, you know.
See, that's concern. And where did they go? Why did they turn on their hazard lights and they're in the right lane?
Yeah.
They didn't pull over. They didn't stop. They got further from
that's
the
the
scene.
thing. Are they? Oh, you mean there? Yeah, but I wonder if they're pulled over before they come into the frame. Like,
right, and maybe then they turned them off. That's weird. Hold up. Let me see. And I slowed it down a little bit to find. I could slow it down even more, but.
So, oh, that's cool. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. So she's parked right with their hazards, and then he's moving away with the hazards on, or this vehicle right here.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said that they could be pulling something, and that's why they had their hazards
but
on.
if you look at the back of all the other vehicles, they're all lit up with that rectangle too. You know what I mean? I think that's just the light pattern. I think it's just the reflection from the headlights and behind them.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait until law enforcement
in the master shot that you pulled, Mel. If you leave it on wide, can you see in that from that footage the cars that are exiting at the next exit? I mean, I'm just wondering if it's able to track that vehicle and see if it starts making a right.
Let me see. 3650. I think it's this one right here. The 4-minute one.
Well, I guess just any of them. Like if because I remember watching it on when the Fox News footage originally came out, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Just where you could see cars that are about to exit, and I can't remember if that's because of the turn signal or.
So we see her. We see the hazard lights that are blinking on the bottom.
I don't think this one. I don't think Gray's has it because I think he's zoomed in.
He did.
Yeah, I think the original. It would have to be the original footage. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's just still a lot of questions, I guess.
Mary Hodge, I was thinking the same thing too. It's possible that people were just trying to draw more attention, doing their part on the road to draw more attention.
And that could be too. They could have turned it on because hey, watch out for.
I don't know, you guys. I guess stop. Let me not sound like Zav girl. Let me stop with the. I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys.
What? Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know.
But the thing is, I think you got to start at.
Can you guys throw out your wildest theories so I can, look
I think
complicit to it?
I think you got to just go back to step one of this whole thing, which is we got here because there's supposed to be a baby walking along the interstate. And then the next step is an abduction. And we just don't see any of those. So you can't keep going on. Like you got to say, okay, if this didn't happen, then none of the rest can happen. You know what I mean? So
interesting.
There's nobody, I haven't seen anybody saying they thought they saw a baby in the footage anywhere. So then you can't even really go to the abduction thing, I don't think. But let's say there was no baby. You don't see an abduction either. Both of those, somebody would have witnessed, or you would have seen a indication of that on video. Again, abductions are violent acts.
Yes.
Something would have indicated something was wrong in that, because if she screams and then all of a sudden the mom says that they heard the phone hit the ground and then they start hearing road noise, that means that because the law enforcement, which I'm sure purposely indicated, they found the phone on the pavement. So and the mom said that the sister-in-law said that she heard her scream, that she could hear the phone fall. She actually said that, and then started hearing road noise. So that means that the abduction happened on the pavement because that's where the phone dropped and was found.
Right.
It didn't happen down in the grass, Right. So we don't see that. And then if that did happen, is the baby run off? Does baby follow them? Like, I don't get any of that.
I think we're all confused too. It's someone. Leo said, "Ick, you're so quiet."
Well, I'm letting our guest speak. I was talking a lot earlier, but I was actually seeing what was going on online. But yeah, no, I'm here.
Storm passed? No.
Huh?
Did that storm pass? I heard all that.
The storm passed. The sun's starting to come out.
I see that. It's like it looks all bright and sunny.
I was actually looking at a Daily Mail article because they posted that dispatch audio they posted my YouTube link to that dispatch audio.
It's like that in Florida, man. Like I literally
it's just
in middle school. I literally outran a storm into a pavilion in my junior high school. I was like, oh my God. And I just saw all this pouring rain coming at me and I ran towards the pavilion and it was right behind me and then it was pouring once I got into the pavilion. Like it'll be sunny on one side of your body and then raining on the other. Like it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I love Florida, man.
That's crazy.
So, and I haven't been online this morning except for a jump on Twitter. Have they shifted back in the public sentiment back into like, oh, maybe this is an abduction? Or
I think everybody's still kind of split at this point.
I don't know what the reaction is. To me, for what I'm seeing, I feel like a lot of people have changed their tune as far as like they're not buying the story.
Well, as of yesterday, it seemed like there was a lot of people or most people were like, even that initially, which I get. People want to help, but people aren't, and they believe. But I mean, it seemed like as of yesterday, almost everybody had shifted to something's off here. But I just wonder if now the family came out on Good Morning America, if it's propelling.
I don't think so, man. Just a little bit that I've seen, the anecdotal stuff, people still are not with it. Even with the parents saying this, they're still like, it's just weird. But there is people out there that are like, no, they totally believe. There's still people looking for the baby too. There's still people thinking or feeling like there was a baby there. She saw a baby. I think the baby thing, like I said, like I'm leaning with SF as far as like maybe there's maybe possibly a mental health thing, and maybe that's why she saw maybe possibly a baby. But honestly, too, this new edition of this thing that I saw that Gray Hughes posted, to me, that doesn't help the case of like there was kidnappers. I think it makes it even more sus. I think it kind of looks even more suspicious that she was
it puts me more in the hoax camp.
Yeah,
it makes it look like there's a second vehicle there. And listen, she didn't call 911 post getting. She didn't get abducted back before 9:34. And then call 911, and then her sister and mentioned the baby, but not mention, oh, by the way, I'm calling you because, as I'm calling you, there's an abductor here. When you're in that situation, you're not going to, you're fighting for your life. You know what I mean? And the other thing that just really got my curiosity or got me thinking about is like, why did the sister-in-law specifically tell her while she's on the phone with her, don't get out of the car to help the baby in case it's a trap? And then that's exactly supposedly what happened.
What happened? Oh man.
Like if somebody calls me and says, I'm on 457 and there is a baby in a diaper, 3 or 4 year old baby on the diaper walking down the interstate, I'd be like, get out of the car and get that baby before it gets hit by a car. Be like, oh, it's probably a trap. Don't get out of the car. And then they said, but she, being the caring person she is, and I'm not saying she's not a caring person, but got out of the car. She's clearly a caring person. She
right.
Nursing, but it just
that definitely
they had the conversation that exact. It's like something that okay, and they said she was trained in this. Maybe you are, but this whole baby baiting thing, there was a viral TikTok in the last year that got like 50 million views or something. It was about baby baiting and stuff like that. And like this stuff happens in Mexico, Central America, and stuff like that, for sure. People are saying this happens all the time in the US and with sex trafficking. It does. Baby baiting.
That's what I heard too. It's not a thing. Here in the US. I've seen, you see this stuff in TikTok and all this, but when you try to find an actual case of it, I couldn't find it. Like in the news, I was trying to find one. A friend was telling me this, and there was that news clip that I played the other day with, according to them, they said a lot of it's just people, like a clout thing, people putting a stroller and be like, look, there's a stroller here and it's to lure you. But there was a news article where somebody put like a tree or blocked the road and it was like an ambush type of thing. There was something about that. I didn't get to play that the other day, but like as far as like there's this mass thing of like people are putting baby seats out and just waiting for people to stop to grab them. I heard that's not actually true.
That's I mean, like shuttles in where I'm, where my family's from, I would go visit and they would say, we don't take this route because it's like, I mean, there are actual logs and trees that they put on the road. And what do? You're not gonna ride the shuttle over the tree. Somebody has to get off and move it. And that is essentially an ambush trap. That I've heard more common over there. That is more common than here.
Yes. Well, and that does happen in countries where there's governmental level corruption too, because people are in on. But in the US, if you want to get the attention of the FBI and the US Marshal Service, kidnap somebody under 18 years old because they're automatically brought in, or use them as bait.
Didn't Gordon Northcott back in like the 20s use kids to lure kids into his truck?
I don't even know, but I mean, nowadays it would be with the technology. You were going to have the most sophisticated law enforcement agencies in the world looking for you. I mean, that's bringing a lot of attention to yourself using a baby, and we just don't see it. We don't see abductors, we don't see the baby, but we can see her clearly. I mean, not clearly, but clearly, there's a person there, walks around the back of the vehicle, goes into the passenger side, comes back out.
So let's just say this is a hoax, right? Mm-hmm. Like, why leave the phone? And I'm thinking, I ask myself, why leave the phone? And then I think, Well, I will. It makes me ask. It makes me ask. Is there a family plan on her cell phone? Can her family, who she doesn't want to know where she is, track her phone?
Mom says she has they have Life 360, and so because that mom said that they did the Life 360 thing, and when they went to go to her location, it actually took them into that intersection. I forgot the name. SF said
Atkins, something.
Yeah, it took them to that intersection at first. So they went there, but they didn't see her vehicle, and then they realized she was on the interstate. So they have some sort of tracking thing. All that stuff, the Apple Watch and the phone.
That could explain why she would purposely leave her phone if she did.
And also, you know, from the very beginning, I've said, why did she take her Apple Watch off and put it in her purse? She's wearing it in the last photo that they have of her just a couple hours before. And her AirPods were in her bag. You know, everything trackable. So, you know, everything trackable, because they're trackable through Find My. And the Apple Watch is GPS and trackable. So it seems like everything trackable is up there. And that's what really got me leaning into the mental health thing, because we see it. Like, people with mental health issues they're intelligent. It happens to very intelligent people as well. And they know exactly how this technology works. We always see them leave it behind, because not just for the tracking thing, but they also perceive that it's spying on them, that there's actual surveillance going on them, and they get paranoid, you know, about the electronics. And it's crazy when we get surveillance, how it's just these repeating patterns you see in different people. They'll decide to ditch their electronics. We had one where the girl happened to leave it, got out of her car, just pulled it over in the middle of nowhere, got out of her car, and she was in front of a U-Haul place. And so it had surveillance, and you just see her set her purse and take her electronics out and put it next to it. And she backs away from it, and she walks up to it 3 or 4 more times, like she's contemplating something, and then finally just leaves. And, you know, they believe they're being, you know, spied on. So that made sense, and of why, that's why I thought it might have been a mental health thing. Not so much not wanting to be found, but she thought somebody was spying on her. And then
I'm not buying the mental health thing.
No, or
right.
Amber Gloria is making an excellent point here. Amber Gloria says, okay, as a potential kidnapper, you don't know who will stop. Generally, it would be a huge dude packing heat. So, I mean, that's a great point. You have no idea. Like, so if you're using a kid to lure people, like, how do you know who's going to stop? Like, there's all shapes and sizes driving cars down the highway. You know what I mean? Like, what do you? So using a kid to lure people, it doesn't add up. Just based on that right there, that statement convinced me that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And you don't know it's going to be a vehicle that just has a single person in it. And how do you know where they're going to stop? You know, so it's just, I don't know.
I don't think we'll have any answers. I mean, I guess we'll wait till law enforcement, and then we'll determine what law enforcement is able to answer to us, what they're willing to share. I do have to head out because I got baby Bunny over here bugging me. She's like, "Are you done? Are you done?" Mel, Claire, SF, I want to thank you guys so much for. I mean, we've been here for like almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
You guys hit the link and gave me your perspective. Shout out to Mel. You guys, the Glare and Mel's link is in the chat. SF's link to the Twitter page is also in the chat. This was awesome. I mean, I love hearing everybody's perspective from the true crime community on this. I guess we'll see what happens.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some clarity, you know.
I know, right? Shout out to you guys. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Adios.
Adios. Yes, thank you, Claire. All right, guys, I got to do some shout outs before I head out because I didn't shout anybody out. Lily says, I swear I manifested this Rabbit and Mel collab. Aw, shout out to Mel, y'all. He's a good guy. He's one of the good guys, the Glare and SF. Thank you, guys. Ranchi, thank you for becoming a member. Rita, thank you for the $4 super sticker. Thank you. Mario, shout out to you. All those cars, all those people, cell phones and dash cams. Yet there's no footage from any of the other cars. I don't buy the story one bit, says Mario. Lilac Peach, child on the road, distress, calling like calling 911 for a pizza order. Ooh, I don't know what to say. Brianne says that first stop for the $4.99. Thank you. That first stop when we can't see her. If the gray car was there, it makes the gray car with no tail lights more suspicious to me. It may be involved. I'm concerned about that car. I will say that. KB $4.99. Thank you. I apologize if this has been covered. What if what if she injured the abductor? Would police keep that quiet? That's a good question. First of all, I mean, hopefully there's an arrest, if this person is out there. SF, thank you. I did mod up Emily. I modded up Queen Bella. Guys, welcome our new mods, as well as Bunny. Thank you for the $1.99. The world is a vampire. Thank you for becoming a member, love. And then the world is a vampire. I'm so glad I found this channel. I think family not on this, just Carlee. Shout out to you and thank you for the $5. Back on my BS. Nothing to add. Just love your coverage of this. Thank you, love. You are awesome. Thank you for the $2. And we read this earlier, Brianna. Thank you for the $9.99. Phoenix, Sealy, and Fairy Dust. You guys, welcome to the Rabbit fam. Shout out to you guys. Make sure you follow the Glare. Make sure you follow Ikamel and make sure you follow SF on Twitter. Also, Mr. Gray Hughes investigates. If you guys like seeing somebody debunk something in law enforcement, look, you guys got to check out his channel. We credit him for the little snippets of the footage that we got. Thank you so much. I got to head out because I got a baby bunny over here. You guys have a great one, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Rabbits out.